1, 2, 3, can you? Oh, I should turn. Apologies, everyone. Not coming from my headphones, I forgot. I was going to leave it going for a little longer. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Keep hydrated, everyone. Okay, you can hear me? Man, let's move the stream. Hello. It is almost sunset, and it is a Sunday afternoon, evening maybe, evening. I'm drinking some water, and I've been doing a little bit of work today, and we're here for the Sunday chill session, where we sit down for a bit and take a little moment to decompress from the work we've been doing. Usually to talk about animation or Sonic the Hedgehog, because apparently that's what my mascot of sorts. Right. So yeah, this week we've been working on the Nausicaa video. If you don't know, I'm working on a big Nausicaa video. I'm going to say it's going to be 40 minutes long, maybe? It's hard to tell right now. I did part one. Part one finished yesterday. I should actually link that in the chat again, if I can find it. Yes, so last Sunday, in fact, I finished part one, which is the first 10 minutes or so of the video, and that's on my Patreon right now. I'm in the midst of finishing the next 18 minutes of the video. It's a much bigger part, but there's a lot more clips in it. The first 10 minutes was very intensive. Lots of very specific shots. Like, there was only 3 clips, I think, of the whole thing. It's mostly my drawings and other things that I've done with it, like photos and drawings and little bits and pieces I've animated or like used After Effects with. So it's yeah, the first 10 minutes are quite extensive, and the next part has also been, but there's a lot of different things we're working with. We've got some, to be fair, there's live action footage in the first part, but there's more clips. There's some B-roll I've shot of there's me. There's going to be some shots of the actual album, the first album, the Image album, which I actually own, which I'm going to use as a prop here. Going to be recording that, going to be recording the vinyl spin, we're going to be recording the actual cover, and there's a lot of other different shots we've been doing, lots of drawings that have been done for it, little bits of animation, unique pieces, illustrations. There's a lot more illustrations in this part from actual Nausicaa, like a lot of concept art we're showing off. Might be some bits and pieces of the manga, I can't remember. But yeah, there's a lot of variety there. There's also some other animated movies that we're looking into, or different bits from the behind the scenes. So there's going to be lots of different things going on there. And that will go up to 28 minutes, I reckon. And then the last part is still kind of in construction. But hopefully we're going to have a guest, and we're going to be doing, we're talking about sort of like summing up the legacy a little bit more at the end, as well as maybe the future of Nausicaa. I think that's how it's going to go. I'm going to bring a guest in to talk specifically about a certain part of the history of the Apocalypse sort of narrative and manga, and Japanese history too. I think that's what's going to happen. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, the context we put it in for the ending, which specifically ties to Miyazaki's, like, I guess you could say epiphany. He had sort of epiphany about his direction after he finished Nausicaa, or so he says. And there's a lot to look in there about why Nausicaa is considered such an important piece for him. And a little story afterwards that comes in the 2010s of him bursting into tears talking about it while rewatching the movie for the first time probably in 40 years. I think maybe 30 years to be honest at that time. But yeah, sorry, what was I was going to look up a little link of the gotta find the actual stream link for a second. Where's that gone? There I am. Gotta mute this. Unfortunately, it's sometimes a bit funny when we do that. So I'm going to link that in the chat, and I'll probably pin it as well. So hopefully YouTube hasn't been funny today. Oh no, YouTube has been funny today. Never mind. Can anyone see that in the chat or not? I just posted a Patreon link but sometimes it lets me do it, sometimes it doesn't. Depends how it's feeling, I guess, that day. But I can't pin it, so I don't know if anyone can see it. Nothing so far. Okay, I'm assuming then it hasn't went through, so what I might try... I might try and split the link in two, and then you guys can have to work it out from there. Okay, maybe that isn't working either. Well, okay, 1 second. Does that work? Can you see that link? I had to put a space in it because YouTube's being funny. But can you see the latest? Wait, can I see it over here? I can't see it over here, so that's probably a bad sign. Maybe I can't do a link. We're doing okay, Zane. Can anyone see the link in the? I'm assuming they can't because I'm going back to the studio and it's not in the studio. Why can't I put links in my own chat? That's insane. Well, I guess you just have to go on the Patreon and find it yourself, I guess. I wonder what I can link. Can I just link my normal Patreon? Can I link this? I'll see if it lets me do it. Yes, I can. Okay, I can link that. That is an approved link. Well, if you went on there, I will pin this, and on there is the first part. Yeah, that one went through. Brilliant, everyone. We got there in the end. I'm glad it didn't take 20 minutes for me to figure that one out as a boomer myself. All right, so I've been wondering about this myself because the first 10 minutes are almost done, but I feel I'm probably going to release the next 18 minutes together. So what I might do is I might have yeah, I have a part 1 video and I'll have a part 2 video which will be longer, just because that's how I've done the timelines. And then there'll be and instead of part 3 I'll probably just have the full video. But I've said it before and I'll say it again here. Depending on how things go with like my guests and such, I might have to readjust some stuff. I have 3 videos planned recently, and some of them are smaller. I have a Fantastic Planet video, which will be much shorter. Like, we're talking 12 to 15 minutes. I can probably do it in like a week to 9 days, maybe 2 weeks. I could slam that together, and it's going to be a bit rough around the edges, but I think it'll be a fun thing to talk about. So that will be a video I will release after Nausicaa, because I expect the Nausicaa video more than likely will get taken down. So I need to release another video on top of it to like re-push it, jig it back in when it eventually comes back. That's my theory at least. So a couple weeks out, like a week after or two, if it does go down, I'll probably release it quicker. But like a week or two afterwards, I'll put it down and put a disclaimer at the front, like just in case my last video went down, check for a link for it right here to watch my Nausicaa video. Something like that, just to give it a little bit of a little extra boost, or just to talk about it, even if it hasn't been taken down. And then there'll be an update video, which will talk about my wrist and my health and some other stuff about the future of the channel. And it will probably have a very particular channel name. I'm thinking of calling it The End because I think it's funny. But yeah, like it just to say that this is not the end, and it will have End of Ava on it because that will be the next project. It's going to be, the Hideaki Anno problem, whatever I end up calling it, the End of Ava problem. I don't know what I'm calling it, but yeah, I'll be talking about like the future of the big videos on the channel, what the plan is for the next couple of months, why I'm going to slow down a little bit, my wrist, health, etc. It'll be like and then also give a breakdown of how a video is made, what I do in it, that kind of video. That might come out earlier than later. I want to release it after the Nausicaa video, but if the Nausicaa video takes a lot of time, I might release it first and then say it's... Yeah, but then like if I'm releasing it, it will be the Nausicaa video will come out very soon after it. Oh, I just knocked my thing. Okay, wait. So that one went through. People can see it. Is that Saltergeist? How's it going? Nice timing. Well, I don't know if it was the best timing for me. I usually start a little earlier, but yeah, I got distracted. You finished rewatching Gits. Gits is a cool film. I got to see it in the cinema because Manga UK or Manga Video, UK company, English company, maybe. Actually, I don't know. It might be from Ireland. They originally funded Ghost in the Shell off the success of their rentals and videos of Akira, and they ran out of other cyberpunk-esque anime to promote. So they decided to fund or co-fund rather Ghost in the Shell. So if you look at it on the posters, usually you'll see like Manga UK. So what happened when they were releasing the live action film? Manga UK did a promo event where they re-released the original film in cinemas for like selective days, and they also had like a contest about posters. So I ended up getting to see the film. Yeah, I think I got to see I can't remember. Yeah, I got to go see it with some friends. It was very fun. It was fun to see the whole film on like the big screen. Though most of the people in the audience were not necessarily looking forward to the live action one at the time. It wasn't out yet, but they were just like in it to watch the original film. And yeah, it was cool seeing it in the big screen. It was really cool. I liked the experience. Got to see it with some friends. It was really nice. And that is vast and infinite indeed. It is truly very wide. And I hope everyone else is doing well. Yeah, I'm not. I've wondered about how I'd tackle this. Like, someone a couple of weeks ago was saying something about a cyberpunk video, and I like the idea of it. It sounds like a very overwhelming topic. Could be a very interesting long form video to do like cyberpunk in anime, and what that entails, what it means, and the history, and like what that means to Japan and America, and like some of the more dirty deeds, and what that where that goes. And like I especially would bring up the Manga UK thing because I think that like it is a very important thing to show how strong the rental and video market was in the 90s. That like you have these, I mean, you don't really associate English, distribution with like actually funding Japanese productions, but it happened. So I do believe that's a cool little tidbit. In fact, I'm more interested in making a video about the second film because I think it's less talked about, and also there's some really interesting production stuff on it, like how like a lot of Ghibli artists worked on it, or how it worked with they worked with Polygon, who then worked with Ghibli again in Ronya the Robber's Daughter, like how these worlds interconnect. Like Polygon's work in Ghost in the Shell 2 is really great. Like they did a lot of great CG background stuff that like they whoever was the compositor on Ghost in the Shell 2 did such an excellent job. The colors, the layers, the CGI, it all comes together in a really cohesive way for like 2004. Like even if the CGI has aged, the artistry, the connection, the compositing is so fantastic. It all comes together in like a really beautiful, shockingly like so package. And of course there's it's a lot more dense and like weird, which I think is quite fun. And it didn't hit quite the same way as the first, so like obviously it's 10 years later, like the market had changed so much by 2004 5. Or like the two dubs, there's like an English dub, there's like a Manga UK dub, and then there's like an American dub, but they both use the same actors. Isn't that like wild and weird? I think Manga UK may have also done some funding on it again. Oh yeah, like Terminator 2 as well. Like the CGI. I mean, I know a lot of people like to talk about the CGI in Terminator 2, but like there's reason to talk about it because like the animation, like beyond the CGI, right? The animation, the people at ILM doing the animations for the liquid suit was so good. Like their keys, they're like the way it moves and it adapts and changes. It's so excellent. It's just great animation work in general, beyond the technology limits that they were doing on, which were insane. But like the way it meshes around the bars, or the way it turns into like a dagger or like a hammer, or like adjustly opens the elevator, all that stuff is so good. That's such strong work, and it feels really satisfying to watch it. It's like one of those weirdly satisfying videos, when you watch like liquid become different shapes. That is exactly what like watching T2, like watching the Terminator in that film do its thing is, or like getting shot. Like it's really, yeah, it feels really good to watch. I don't know how to put it out there. It's just fun, and like or how it becomes the floor and stuff. Just great animation in general. Like beyond it just being CGI, it's just great work. Yeah, Snork. I'm getting excited talking about animation. What a dork, eh? I don't think I've ever seen any Terminator film on the big screen. I don't. No, I don't think I have. When I was younger, I watched Terminator 2 a lot. We had it on VHS, I believe, so we watched it a lot as a family. We once watched Terminator 1 as a family, and my mother had to. She tried to distract me because there's like a weird sex scene in it, and she was like trying to get me away from the screen. She was just being like, "Hey, how you doing? How you doing?" I'm like, I knew what she was trying to do, and I was just like, well, okay, okay, like, I know what's going on. Don't worry." But it was very awkward. We never watched that film together again. Yeah, I'd like to try. Well, the only way you could talk about cyberpunk in Japan is by talking about it as like live action to anime, and like a lot of it is aesthetical. Like in Japan, a lot of it is aesthetic. It's aesthetic based, and it specifically ties back to a certain kind of films. But like the anime took it a different direction as well. Like you could also argue that probably films like Aliens and Blade Runner played a big role in that sort of like dirty aesthetic that you see, which is just all over OVAs in general. So there's like truckers in space vibe going on. Then you have films like God, what was it even called? There's a film about motorcyclists that came out in '82, around the same time as Blade Runner, which was like it was like very rebellious biker gangs, very much sign of the times, lots of neon lights, and the original director was a real punk dude. He didn't even get final cut on the film, so the ending of it is a bit of a mess. And he's always wanted to make like an actual proper one. I think like the last 30 minutes of it is completely just unchopped because they ran out of money or something. I will bursting. It's called something bursting lights or bursting something like that. But also Tetsuro Iron Man. That you cannot forget, like Tetsuro Iron Man. Like that stuff is like the mix of technology, metals, body horror is very impactful in that era too. And then you then have to take in like the context of what the '80s was for Japan and like how they reflect of the fear, what came as fear and like a weird Orientalism from like America becomes emboldened into a force of like, yes, we are the powerful techno race techno people, I guess, that you're afraid of. That is us. This is what we are. Japan is the ultimate, like, it's the ultimate soft power nation now. It's running. It's been on high for 20 plus years. This high is never going to end. We're all raking in the cash. Technology is king, like that sort of thing, and. This is the new Japan. Like these ideas are like very much at the forefront of a lot of the stuff. And some of it's just like cool colors, neon, whatever, pop music. But yeah, it changes. It changes, and there's also key figures in that movement as well. Specific mangaka. You can't discount what Otomo did for the scene. And Otomo was a fan of the Burst film, and like the director, they have done interviews together. So they likely that sort of punk culture of motorcyclists that he saw in those indie films from '81, '82 time period may have like later affected how Akira like shaped itself too. So and then obviously yeah, it's dance, guys. It's real dance. Yeah, seeing seeing anime on the big screen would recommend it, guys, if and girls and everyone in between, if you can, I would say do it. And yeah, I think a lot of younger people were introduced to Gits and Akira maybe before they became anime fans specifically. I'm a little bit of the age after that, or that like I didn't have a lot of that stuff in my house, so the early animes that I saw were gonna be like Pokemon and Dragon Ball, Digimon, etc. I was seeing that kind of stuff that was on like public television. At the same time as I was seeing Power Rangers. I didn't necessarily see anything that was a lot harsher until I was about 11 years old. And Channel 4 did a top 100 voted by the public anime movie selection. And one of the films that they showed was The Legend of the Overfiend. Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, I think Innocence has its own flair for sure. Aussie, I'm afraid I'm a straight edge boy. We do no drugs here, I'm afraid. But I appreciate the thought. Okay, Salt guys. I just had this conversation, someone who said the exact same thing. You that the conversation made me nostalgic. Fair enough. Wait, is that to Lenny or to me? Oh, about Innocence? Yeah, Innocence is cool. Yeah, I think T2 is a cool looking film. It's very blue. Like T2 is a very like blue film, but the shots are pretty great and the action scenes. I haven't watched it in a while, to be fair, but I should probably. I mean, I watched it so much as a kid, like I can pretty much memorize the whole film here. Like I got a pretty good memory of the whole thing here. But yeah, maybe I'll watch it again sometime. In fact, watching it on a big screen would be very cool. Seeing those effects. I mean, last time I probably watched it was on DVD, so like it has been a little time. Have I seen Enter the Void? Yeah, I've seen Enter the Void. It was pretty out there. You know, that would be very interesting. You know, actually, Lenny, funny enough, I actually have the twin pack. Manga UK or Manga Video, they released a twin pack. So I have Ghost in the Shell 1 and 2 on the same, like, collection for cheap. It came with some extras too, which is nice. But, like, it was a good, like, double pack. So, like, I have both films, separate discs, both in high def. I've been meaning to sit down and watch Innocence properly for some time, but I was waiting to watch it with a friend. COVID happened, haven't been able to do that, I'm afraid. But maybe I'll just sit down and watch it on my own. On my lonesome, I'll just sit down and watch some Innocence one night when I'm feeling particularly cyber-phatic. I don't know what the word. Cybercratic? I don't know. I'm feeling like a digital boy. You only seen the lesser Terminators? I mean, I've only seen Terminator 1, 2, and 3. I haven't watched any of the other Terminators after that. So I can't really speak for the quality. 3 is kind of meh. I like 1 and 2, though. Now I'm behind. Taconorance? I don't know what that means. I heard about the One Piece Netflix teaser, but it sounds awful. I don't want to watch that. Haven't even watched One Piece in a while. I'm way behind in One Piece. I want to catch up on like new One Piece with like all the new like redesigns and everything. It looks gorgeous. Like all the new stuff they've been doing. Like they got the movie team working on it every week. You know, great line work, great compositing, great colors, lots of expressive animation. Like I want to sit down and watch that rather than some live action shit. How's it going? Experienced YT sailor, whatever that means. Oh yeah, I've heard Norse Nun's pretty good, Greg. I've been meaning to check it out at some time. But yeah, sounds like a good time. Yeah, Gets 2 is definitely a lot weirder, I know that much. In Germany, Gits and Gits 2 belong to different publishers. Interesting. I feel that that manga video definitely did some funding on the second film as well, because I just don't see how else it would have been made. I don't know if it really did particularly great at cinema, just because like these kind of films don't do great at the cinema, especially during that time period. But they tend to do really good on like rentals and videos. Like I know that Ghost in the Shell, yeah, made most of its money through rentals and video stuff. It did very well that area. Though if you look at like its estimated like cinema stuff, it usually is pretty low in comparison. What's my opinion on the best Evangelion manga or anime? I have no idea. No idea. It's been too long since I've watched or read any of it. Whatever you like, basically. You know, it's yours for the picking. There's so many of them. So many different things you could be reading. I don't really know if I believe in the objective truth of Ava. But I'll be rewatching a lot of it that Arno did soon. After I finish these big projects, I'll be watching, Ava 1, 2, well, Ava 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 3 plus 1, and the original series, and End of Ava. And I guess maybe Rebirth too. Is that a real movie? Whatever. I'll watch all of it. Have I read any indie Western comics? Any good I don't really spend that much time reading indie comics, I'm afraid. I'm not the right person to ask. Um, no, I'm not really good in that area. I'm trying to think of any indie comics I've read. Like the last indie comic I remember reading really specifically would have probably been like Ghost World. What else have I read? I think I've got some weird ones about, but I'm not good at off the top of my head. Um, but the last comic book I bought was The Inkle. And that's not really indie. That's just Mobius. It's a pretty big name in the scene. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. No, nothing comes to mind. YouTube, yeah. Let's see. Oh, is there a Blu-ray for Nana? Is that any good in terms of like upscale? Death and Rebirth is Ava movie between the series, and of Ava personally don't think is. Wait, Death and Rebirth is not worth watching, or I mean, I'll probably watch it anyway, just in case. Damn, Greg, watching all of them in the same day, that's pretty wild. Oh, how's it going, Hazel? There's a really cool indie web comic called Mon Bud, but this guy called Flip Down Yonder would recommend. Oh, that's Sen, isn't it? Yeah, I've actually read Sen's work. Is it new in this one? I've read his old ones. I haven't kept up though. I should probably check. Have I read this one? Oh god, okay, it wants me to put age verification in, okay. Alright. Wait, where's it gone? Oh, it's gone. Okay, it just disappeared, great. God damn it. Didn't... Come on, let's try again. Oh, he's been updating it recently. But I'm probably not caught up. I should probably give it a read. Oh. Okay, well, it's been a bit funny with me. It doesn't want me to read it. Oh, it's a serious content. Okay, okay. Oh, it's all in black and white now. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I really like, I guess it's Flip now, is it? I like Flip's art a lot. I think it's really stylish. A lot of personality to it. It does good work. And his compositions too. This one has like more standardized type. I kind of liked it when he wrote his old type, but I could see, yeah, it's easier this way. I should actually give it a little read. So Death and Rebirth is a recap of the first half. Okay, I probably... Yeah, I have to rewatch everything from Ava anyway. Oh, okay. Someone's just saying, Banny. Yeah, I talked about Fantastic Planet. If you like Fantastic Planet, you should check out Lulu, I think that's how you say it. Lelou's other works. If you can get your hand... Alright, this is where it gets a bit difficult. It depends if you have like a physical release or not. Lelou did a couple like shorts. Sometimes they come on discs with Fantastic Planet. Like he did a lot of shorts with Ronald Topper. I think his name is Ronald Topper. Ronald Topper was the guy who did a lot of the design sense in Fantastic Planet. He very much is the visionary behind the style of Fantastic Planet. So there's more shorts like that, but you can find around. They're a bit harder to find. I'd look them up on his wiki. You might find them on YouTube. I would also recommend. I did a video on this. This one's a little bit more rough around the edges, I think, but I do think it has heart, which is Time Masters. That's how I know it. It's called Time Master, I think, or Time Masters. And then there's he did a third film as well. Those three would probably be worth looking into, or maybe some other French animation might be worth a go. Though I'm not. Probably King of the Mockingbird would be my other recommendation. I've also made a video on that one. Yeah, everyone should check out Flip's comic. What was it called again? Monbud? Monbud? Maybe I'll paste it in there. He should get some more love. Monbud comic. Check it out. There we go. I'm gonna give it a thumbs up. Should I watch a video called Chinese Animation and Search for Style? I think I've actually seen about. I think I've seen the video. Because I believe I saw that video because at one point in time I did consider doing a video on the history of like Chinese animation, but honestly, Ascended Cinema is far more qualified to talk about it than me. So when I saw his video, I was like, yeah, he can handle this stuff. This is a little outside my area of expertise, and he probably has better sourcing or better knowledge of it than I would have as someone who's like an outsider to it. But I do think, Chinese animation history is very interesting, especially the stuff with like Nisha. I think it's called Nisha. It's like one of the 70s movies they did. That one's pretty cool. And there's some early stuff as well they did with like ink animation, which is really impactful later on to things like Princess Kaguya in style. Yeah, I think he's pretty cool, Edson. Well, from what I've seen of his videos, he seems pretty fine. I know he did a Shin-Chan video. I haven't seen a lot of them, but the ones I've seen I thought were pretty cool. If you can get a physical release, go for it. I don't know if the physical. Well, I've been told third hand that the physical releases that France got for some of those films, like Fantastic Planet or other, I think it's Lulu or Ronald Topper, aren't the greatest because apparently it did better in like English speaking places. But I do recall seeing that one of the Time Masters DVDs in France had a behind the scenes documentary, which was not on my version, which I got. My DVD was very rare though. It was really hard to find. I had to get it off eBay, off some like random seller. I was lucky. I got it at the price I did. It was pretty expensive for like a very old DVD. I wonder if they bring Future Boy Conan to the English space. I wonder if Anime Unlimited. I think Anime Unlimited is probably going to release Future Boy Conan here. If they do, I'll probably buy it. Because I'm looking for those extras, baby. I'm hoping they brought some nice stuff on that disc. I'm hoping it's not just a blank one. Maybe some behind the scenes. Talk to Otsuka, and maybe I don't know. Maybe talk to someone else who worked at Nippon during it. I'd love that. Yeah, hopefully it'll be the same version, Lenny. I mean, I think a lot of them are unified. Have I seen the movie Devilman? That's a rare DVD. I've seen Devilman. Is this the OVA one? I've seen the OVAs from the 80s, like both of them. Um, I've also read of all of Devilman, and I think the OVA is a pretty good adaptation of those first early chapters of Devilman. They do pretty good. It's pretty decent. It's pretty decent, like to OVA. I also believe there's some Ghibli or ex Ghibli, maybe some ex Telecom. It might be O Productions or someone. There's a couple people on Devilman, the OVA, who are like used to work at Ghibli or who worked around there, or like who've worked with Miyazaki in the past, and you can kind of see it. But it's very funny seeing people who used to do very wholesome animation go straight into like this really like intense, ultra violent blood stuff. It's funny. I like Crayon Shin-Chan stylistically quite a lot. I used to watch it when I was a kid, but it's a little too awkward for me when I was younger. It hit me in the feel. I was like, oh, it's too awkward, but I probably should rewatch a lot of Shin-Chan, especially in the movies. I've seen so many good clips from the movies, which I think are just so fun and they're so full of personality and great, like, loosey-goosey animation. Oh, The Killer. Yeah, I think I know of The Killer. I've seen Cho Yong Pat, John Woo. I've seen a couple of John Woo's films. I'm trying to think which ones. I've seen the what's the famous one? Hard Boiled. I've seen Hard Boiled. I've seen excellent The Face Off. Face Off. I've seen his version of The Three Kingdoms, but I may not have finished it all. I might fall asleep. But I've seen a couple of John Woo films. I think they're fun. They're usually quite fun. Oh yeah, that's the one. Okay, I'm hoping that's what we were talking about. Amon Apocalypse of Devilman was a great retelling. I don't know if I've seen that one or read it, whatever it is. Um, does Japanese culture fascinate you as an animator? If so, what more than other than Japanese culture do you find? Well, honestly, the culture isn't necessarily interesting for me from an animation perspective per se. How would I put? Oh, actually, it's getting a little dark now. Let me turn the light on here. It's actually also very hot. Like it got really hot in England very quickly, so like my room is sweltering, which is why I'm wearing this. I mean, I like to wear tank tops usually in these streams. It depends how hot it is, but like it's been really steamy today. Like I've been sweating a lot. It's getting hot again. Not like as hot as the heat wave, but yeah, out of nowhere it's gotten really close. What was I saying? Yeah, like I don't think the culture is interesting from an animation perspective per se. I mean, maybe from like making these videos that I do, it's interesting. I think the culture is just the context of which the animation is made, which is why I look at it when I make my videos. Though, like, it doesn't necessarily like make me want to animate more. I don't want to like draw pastiches of old like Japanese history or anything like that. I'm not really not necessarily interested in that way, unless like it was for a specific project. Like if there was a purpose behind it, but like I don't want to just draw like historical samurai because I don't know it looks cool. That doesn't really interest me now. But yeah, I think it's I appreciate it. I guess when I'm watching Japanese animation, there is something nice about knowing a bit more about what's going on, like behind the scenes, or like what they're showing on screen. That's nice. As it is in any situation. Like I don't think it's exclusive to Japanese animation. It's nice to have a bigger context. Like if you're watching a Chinese film or if you're watching an Italian film, like it's good to have context. It brings a little bit more insight into it. And what do I think of the live action Cowboy Bebop? It's probably gonna be terrible, but I don't really care. When it comes out, it will probably benefit me in the end because of I did those Bebop videos so long ago. They'll probably get a nice boost from the release. Like they'll probably see a trending spike, so they'll probably get a bunch of extra little views. At least the first one will. Though rewatching them for a commentary, I think they're not that great. But like under the circumstances they were made, they're a lot better than they could have been. They were made very quickly under huge deadlines while also working a lot of hours at my job with very little sleep. So I think for what they were at the time, I can appreciate what I was going with, and I really do like the dandy section. I rewatched the dandy section. I was like, damn, I actually really love this dandy section. Not only because I just like watching Space Dandy, but what I'm saying about it, I think it's nice and fun, and if it looks sounds like I'm having fun, and I like that about that video. That was the part I liked the most. I mean, if Yoko Kanno's doing the soundtrack for the new Bebop, I could sit down and listen to that and not watch the video, the actual show. That I could do that. Freaking muggy. Yeah, yeah, I can feel that. Like it's been quite warm down here. I was going to go out for a cycle earlier, but I didn't manage getting to it. I got a little distracted by things. But maybe tomorrow, depending on where the weather is, I'll probably go for a nice cycle about. Try and make the best of the weather. Hopefully, it's not too warm though. I'm bad with warm weather. Can I recommend you some good movies? I've never seen a movie in my life, I'm afraid. Just watch some of my videos. That's the best way. Will I ever go to Japan one day? I mean, I'm not like... It's not something I'd like need to do right now, but if I'm going to Japan... Alright. I'll tell you all the story, because I've probably told it before, but I'll tell it to you because you probably never heard it. So, a while back, I guess it was a couple of years back now, one of my first videos where I was using After Effects on the channel as like a video. I'd used After Effects before, but as like a video essay, I guess, or a documentary or whatever you want to call it. I made a video on Ryo Fukui, who was at a time he was quite a popular like recommendation that you got, like his whole album scenery. And since then they've got a lot of re-releases of their albums. They become very popular in like a very specific niche, and the albums always sell well. I made a video on him, and I sent it to the bar. His widow, his wife, I guess, she still runs the bar, or she did. Unfortunately, I haven't actually messaged them recently because of the COVID situation. But she really appreciated the video. She saw it and she was very thankful. She sent me a couple packages to say that she would really appreciate it. Very sweet. She's very sweet. If I go to Japan, I don't really care about like going to Akihabara or something. I need to go to Sapporo and I need to thank her personally. That's what I really need to do. I need to show my appreciation because like she really like went the extra mile. She sent me like maybe 3 records, like physical records, and a nice little package. She sent me this like little CD with like an NHK recording of like her husband before he like passed on television, and she sent like a nice letter and like a postcard for the bar, and she said, yeah, come down to the bar when you can. I'd really appreciate it. I'd love to go and see her, watch the jazz, and really just thank her, I guess, just because it's like one of the sweetest things anyone's ever done for me, let alone a stranger. yeah, it was just such a nice thing to do. I wasn't really expecting it either, so like it came as quite a shock. Japan tour. I mean, I could do a Japan tour for patrons. I could absolutely do that if you want me to. I could bring my camera and do like a little vlog or whatever. Hopefully, I can get a like a like one of those clip mics or something, connect it to my phone, do something like that. Or like maybe I'll do the recording, the narration afterwards. But like, yeah, I could do that if people want it. Yeah, sure, I'll do it. I'll do a Patreon Japan tour if I go, especially in the jazz clubs if I get to go. But yeah, COVID kind of destroyed any of that because if COVID hadn't happened, I might have already went and done that stuff. Yeah, each episode of Dandy is very cool, very cool. My next project, as I said before, we're doing Nausicaa, Fantastic Planet together. Those are the current projects, and then afterwards it's Hideaki Anno. And after that, depending on timing, depending when I finish the Anno video, I was thinking of doing like a marathon of 4C movies in the December, but it really depends when I finish the Anno video. If I finish it in like the end of November, I probably can't be like spending that much time. Like I can't go day to day that intense through December. It'll ruin me. But if I finish in like early November, I probably will try and do like a 4C month for December. I've been curious if I should make it like one big video or like multiple little ones. But I think what I've come to the compromise is that I'll probably do like several small videos and then maybe turn them into one big video in like January. Like put it all together, maybe add a couple extra bits, like something like that. So like I can do, try and do best of both worlds and add a little extra for people who've already watched the marathon. I did read the Beano and Dandy a little bit when I was a kid, like a little bit. I had a couple issues, but I wasn't too familiar. But like I did get a couple when I was about like 7 or 8. I read one or two. Well, I'll be going solo or with my friends if I go to Japan. I find traveling very stressful, so I probably will end up going either on my own, like with a real game plan in mind, or I will go with my friends, and they can do all the organizing. One of the two. It is very sweet. Yeah, I really appreciate it. I really appreciate what Miss Fukui did for me. Deep dive in Japanese culture. I mean, I'd be around in Japanese culture, I guess, if I went. If I talk about, yeah, I will probably talk about the shorts. All right. What might happen is I might talk about the movies in the marathon, and then the finished product may have me talk about the shorts, the music videos, the video game cutscenes, as well as their like international stuff they do. And I'll try and package it all around the movies too, and try and make it all like one cohesive video. It might be kind of messy because I'll probably have to write it in mind that I'm transitioning into each video, but I'll segment it and time zone it, and I think it could be. And then I'll add I'll probably like record an intro and outro too to try and bring some context. Be a weird way of doing it, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. That will only really happen though if December is if I hit it by December, because if I don't hit it by December, it'll be a bad move for me. Usually you want to hit December with the most videos because it's like ad rates are insane. So like for the for the health of the channel, like that's the best time to do it. Doing it in January I wouldn't make any money. But like in the long term, the big video would make money. So it's fine. Yeah, I will be working on the Fantastic Planet video soon. Godspeed, yeah, yeah. I hope it all comes together. I really appreciate that. Sorry, how do I pronounce this? I have to look into it because I'm not familiar with each of the kanji. Well, I guess yeah, they're all kanji, aren't they? Translate. I've probably seen it. 4 seasons in the morning. Okay, Shiki Yasa. Shiki Yasa? Shiki. Shiki for short, yeah. I think I remember you're in one of the prior streams. Shiki. Yes. Shiki. No, it's good, it's good. It's good. I got it. I got there in the end. Shiki. Nice to see you again. I appreciate that you like the content. Yeah, I mean, Japanese onsen would probably be quite nice. I think that would be really chill. might move. This is the cat blanket, but I might move it down because the cat usually she likes to sit here. So like I'm gonna move her blanket down. I think it will look better. Yeah, there we go. So if she comes in, she'll probably come in a little bit because she always does. So if the cat comes in, I'll probably make sure she's got a nice place to sit. She likes that blanket. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of beer or alcohol. Like I said, I'm a straight edge boy. Just water for me. I'm not that into beer. Well, like I said, I don't drink alcohol or anything like that. I'll be perfectly happy with some green tea or some water or something. And that's what I'm drinking right now. This is just water, just to keep my throat hydrated. Because when you talk for hours, a couple hours. I didn't really warm up either. I should have done a little warm up. Yeah, I like to keep the water going, especially when I'm talking a lot. So I should be doing a bit of that before I stream for hours on end, or I'm gonna do my voice then. I go. You go. You do one of those. You do a couple like tongue twisters and such. Stretch out your mouth. Just warming up a bit. Get some expression in there. Yeah, we are missing the main star of the screen. She might have Does that really help? Yeah. I mean, the way I did it then probably won't help, but there are ways to like warm up your voice before stream. It's usually about breathing and muscles. Like you try and warm up the muscles and the breathing. So like you're more, I don't know, it's usually like you're more clear, or you breathe like your breathing patterns are more natural. But sometimes you can blow your voice out if you're not warmed up before, or because you got to get, if you haven't been like talking for hours on straight beforehand, like it can come as quite an intense shock. But I'm guess I'm used to it a little bit. But like I might feel it in the morning if I'm not careful. Which is why I drink like an exorbitant amount of water on stream, because it keeps my voice like from going dry. It's also very warm. Yeah, the cat is I think she has snuck onto my bed and she's on one of the blankets she's not supposed to be on. That's where I saw her before stream started. I haven't seen her since, but maybe I'll check on her. How's it going, Ava? Have I joined at the fun moment? I was just saying that I should have done some warming up beforehand on my voice, because you talk straight. It starts to wear down a little bit. So I was doing a little example of what you do. I want a cat. How much did it cost? I have no idea how much the cat cost. It was a family cat. I guess it will vary depending on where you live as well. I got mine from the RSPCA, which is like English. She was an abandoned cat. I mean, to be fair, some people just give away cats. It depends where like if a cat has a litter of kittens, some people will just give them away. You might have to just ask around. But yeah, having a cat is good. I mean, you got to like figure out what kind of cat you got, I guess. Some of them are a bit more high maintenance than others. But yeah, it's nice. Kuzan, had your first shot and been drinking an exorbitant amount of water all day. Congrats on the first shot. I don't know, is that a vaccination shot or is that a whiskey shot or something? What am I missing here? Sage monkeys. Yeah, the monkeys are cool too. I like monkeys. Have I got cat scratch fever? I have no idea what that is. What, like when you get attacked by a cat? My cat doesn't really attack. She only accidentally scratches. Honestly, Brooks, I used to play a lot of games when I was younger, but I haven't played too much in the last couple of years, especially with my wrist. I can't do it. It hurts too much to like because of the repetitive pressing of buttons. It's too much on my wrist right now. There's nothing really I can play unless it's like one-handed. So yeah, I haven't played many games. Like the last console I bought, like new console, a new at the time console, would have been the PS3. I haven't bought like a console that's newer than that. I don't think. Maybe actually, I don't know. Like maybe the 2DS. I bought a 2DS once on eBay for cheap. I think that's the newest thing I ever bought. I didn't really use it much, so like yeah, I haven't really bought much consoles after that. I've got a bunch of old consoles though. Around my friend's house is a Dreamcast. Yeah, no, that was a friend's N64. I don't have that anymore. There's a Mega Drive in the cupboard, but I don't think we got the wires for it. There's a DS around. There's a GBA around somewhere. There's an old original Xbox. There's a PS2. There's a Wii, which is also a GameCube. What else we got around? I think that's mainly most of the stuff we got around. I mean, obviously my PC does play some stuff, but it's mainly for editing. I don't really play games on it. And again, with my wrist, I can't really play much. You know, Sega Saturn's a really cool console. If I was gonna get another console, it would probably be like a CRT with a Sega Saturn. But again, wrist no go. But yeah, even like Sega Saturn's just cool. Oh, bacterial infection? No, I've never gotten a bacterial infection from my cats. They're very clean. Sega Saturn's a fun console. I do really like it. Glenny becoming a gamer trademark gamer. PS5, eh? Now I turn it on once a month. Oops. Yeah, it happens. What are you gonna do? Oh yeah, I remember the Klonoa remake on the Wii. Any good? I heard it was quite easy, but maybe that's for the gamers. Probably wouldn't be easy for me. I'd probably fail. Like I said, we do have a Wii around. I'm a big fan of like Resident Evil on the Wii. Yeah, like I like Resident Evil Wii. That's my favorite version. Resident Evil 4 Wii specifically. That's my favorite version. But at the same time, I have to even before my wrist became like an issue. I had to use the button to do the. You can do the swiping with the knife like this on the Resident Evil 4, and it's fun to do the first time, but it will do your wrist in something nasty. So usually I press I think it's like BA instead. Like that's the best way of doing it without like, fatiguing your wrist out. Because like you're spending your whole time like this, so it does take it out of you just standing up doing this. But yeah, I think that's a really fun way of playing the game. Yeah, I have like I said, I have a Sega Mega Drive, but we got none of the wires, so I had to buy those again. All the controllers. I think it was an X's console, maybe. Of my not my ex. Funny enough, I think it was my sister's ex's console, and he never picked it up, so I kept it. But we have a couple games for it, but again, like I don't have the remotes, don't have the wires I'd need. Probably would need a CD. The problem is though, it's a Mega Drive in the PAL region, which means all the games run too slow. So like if I had to do anything with it, I'd probably have to like mod it or something, so I could make games run at 60 hertz instead of 50. Because like running games at 50 hertz kind of sucks. How's it going, Fluggy? How you doing? We're talking about gamers. How do I maintain a beard? My beard just grows naturally, so it's probably good genes. But I do have some beard oils that I put in them. They're just like over the counter. I got them at a local shop. I used to have like specific beard oils I bought online, but nowadays you can buy them anywhere. So I went to like a local shop and just bought some beard oil, and I put it in there usually on the daily, usually like after I've showered or whatever. I don't know if I put any in today. I might need to. It's feeling a little bit dry, but that keeps it nice. You want to keep it soft, really, or I don't want it to turn into like barbed wire. But just shave it occasionally, I guess, and shape it a little bit, and it's all good. I don't have to do much. It's low maintenance. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good today, Floggy. Actually, I'm feeling pretty alright. It's been a nice day, nice and relaxing, really. Speaking of which, I don't know if I probably didn't put it in the chat. for a while. Yeah, the second part of the Nausicaa video is coming along quite nicely. I would say that like in the next couple of days, that part will be like done, and that means that the first 28 or so minutes will be complete, which leaves just like a smaller portion at the end. Somewhere between 35-40 minutes I know this video is going to be. The outro has been recorded, though I might have to add a little bits and pieces there, just in case. But yeah, it's coming together quite nicely. The last things to do is stuff like... I have like a list somewhere, don't I? Where'd I put it? I might have moved it to the other room. It's just like... I've got to shoot some B-roll for like one part. I've got to do the Warrior of the Wind part. I've got to add in a bunch of quotes still. I've got to add in some unique images. I might need to adjust some images, drawing up a bit more type. I think I've added most of the clips, but there might be some more clips to add. Probably for Warrior of the Wind. Or is it Warrior of the Wind? Yeah, it is Warrior of the Wind, isn't it? Yeah, there's just little bits and pieces to do. Like, a lot of it's come together quite nicely. Where did I get my singlet from? Kira, I'm not sure what you mean. My what? I don't know. You have to explain that one, Kira. Anyway, yeah, Brooks, if you've got to go to sleep, have a good one. Nice seeing you in the chat. Yeah, I've watched Bob's Burgers. I like Bob's Burgers. I haven't watched it in a while, but my friends have been getting into it recently, so I might end up seeing a couple more episodes at some point. But yeah, I like Bob's. It's a good fun. And British artists. Is Francis Bacon British? I forget. Ari. Oh god, it's been a while since I've done my art history stuff or my stuff on like that. There's probably a couple, but I'm at a loss for names. There's one early impressionist I quite like. I think they're British. I think I've seen a couple there in the gallery. They did a lot of like boats. RW something maybe. I have to look through like British painters because it's been a while. I don't remember where people are from. Oh, so okay, the Wiimote makes it a little awkward. That's fair. How do you decide a project is done like philosophically? Where did I get it from? God, I got this thing. I think it's from like M&S. I think it is. I don't know. I just bought a pack of... I needed it for something. I think I needed these specifically for a Halloween party, but now I just wear them casually. But I was going as Snake Plissken, so I grew my hair out a bit, and I was wearing an eye patch, and I had definitely one of these on, with some like army like trousers or whatever, some boots. But I looked alright. I think I looked alright. I could have been a bit more. I could have got the snake tattoo maybe in the funny watch, but it wasn't that like kind of party. It was kind of like... It wasn't like no one was going to be like looking at my costume. It was like, you know, neon dancing and all that. How do I decide a project is done philosophically? I kind of have a method to my madness now, so I have a way of doing it. I might talk about it a little bit when I do that like update video. Now though, because of the way I think about it now, because of how long the videos have become, I pretty much go through it. I split the video up and do them in parts. With different folders with different assets and different parts. So I'll do like 10-minute chunks and I'll finish that. I didn't used to do it, but now it's also a resource thing, but like now I'll do like 10-minute chunks and finish that whole 10-minute chunk in order. Usually in order, like I'll go through minute to minute and just do it. Unless it's like something really awkward, I might live till the end. But I'll go through it minute to minute, finish that chunk, and then release it to patrons. Because I feel like if video is going to take a long time, I want the people who are paying for them to get like the experience of like 100% done, even if it's in parts first. And then like very little will probably change in the final video. Like maybe like very tiny little cosmetic things, or like maybe if I got something wrong. But like, yeah, I like to finish a section of the video 100% to release it to people. That's how I like to do it nowadays. Tama, I'm going to talk about both and the history, and we're going to beyond. We're going to be talking about the pre-manga stuff, like how it got made. We're going to go into the manga. We're going to go transition into the movie production because it goes straight in, and then we're going to talk about the manga, the manga afterwards for 10 years. But like there's less info about like that development, so like it's probably going to be more of an overview of the direction of the story, some of its themes, the context, and then talking about his thoughts after finishing it. and then we'll go strictly into years afterwards and the context of Norse Canal. I thought you almost skipped a philosophical question to talk about fashion. I mean, I'm not against it. I know. To be fair, I don't have great summer wear, to be honest. But, there's some stuff I look pretty good in. I'll wear all sorts. I'm not that picky about clothes. I like to wear lots of different things. I look pretty good in a dress. Though I don't have any myself, I'm afraid. But, yeah, I need to probably get more summer wear for next year, because it's only going to get hotter. But I like my winter wear. I had a lot of jumpers. I like wearing jumpers. Some of them have gotten a bit tight. I might need to get some new ones. Yeah, I like the jumpers. What other things? There's a lot of different things. I like wearing funny shirts too. I mean, that's something that's newer, I guess. I like wearing my silly shirts. I bought a good shirt for stream, which I'm probably going to wear with one of my jackets, which I think is pretty good. It will suit the aesthetic. Well, we'll see it soon enough. When it comes, I'll show it to everyone. It'll be my fun streaming my very not controversial at all fun shirt to wear for streams. Honestly, Ava, it's actually kind of really warm right now. We're having like another like mini heat wave for this week. Maybe after that it'll get colder again, but like it's quite warm right now in the UK. Victoria's Secret is missing out. I mean, they are. I'm pretty good. I'm a pretty good poser when I get down to it. Has the Berserk manga got an official ending? I don't think it has. I'm probably going to be talking about Ava. Is that Lawagon? I'll be talking about Alwagon. I'll be talking about Ava when I make the Arno video, which will be the next video after the big clump I'm doing now. The Arno video may come out at the end of this year, before the end of this year. Depends how long it takes. It's a lot to talk about, so like it could take a long time, but like I don't know if it'll take more than 3 months. Maybe it will. I don't know. It depends how efficient my timeline is on the Arno video, but we'll be talking about Ava with Arno. I think it's hard to like separate the two, so that's how I'll do it. What was the best Halloween costume you've ever done since you mentioned that? I didn't do a lot of good Halloween costumes, to be honest. The ones I remember doing in the past were I did a Robin one I quite liked back in the day when I was like 16. It wasn't too fancy, but I did some modifications to the costume. It was kind of like a dodgier, like silly one, but I did some changes to it to make it more like the Tim Drake Robin. Like I put some black trousers on, and I added some black sleeves, and like adjusted the it went all the way down, and I made the sleeves shorter, and I painted a mask on instead of having one of those shit masks. I painted a mask onto me, so it was more like body paint. And my hair was quite short back then, so like yeah, I had a good Tim Drake look going that night. I remember someone came up to me. I was out walking, probably on the way back home, and I remember some girls came up to me like, "Oh, your costume looks cool." I had the cape on and everything, and it was nice. It was like, yeah, thank you very much. I can't remember what they were wearing, but I was wearing Robin. I was wearing a nice Robin costume. I think the mask really made it, like the real like painted on mask. I think that made it look really good. Outside of that, Vincent Van Gogh was very funny. I wouldn't say it was a very it wasn't like a very crazy costume, but we did add the thing on my ear, which was quite funny. Like I had some tissues or something on my ear, and we added some like paint to make it like bloody. And there was 3 of us, so this was why it was really good because we had 3 artists. So my friends, they were Salvador Dali and Frida Kahlo. So it was Frida Kahlo, Salvador Dali, and Vincent Van Gogh walking to a bar. So that was fun. Oh, I didn't know she Yamada was doing something that Takahata wanted to adapt. That's pretty cool. As an animator, would it be fair to say paint on glass animation is the most difficult technique? Actually, I think that's one of the ones that I find easier. It's obviously going to be a preference thing, but I like paint on glass quite a lot. It's obviously a lot easier to do with oils, but I actually really like paint on glass. In fact, if I had the setup for it, I would do it a lot more. I used to do, when I was in uni, I used to do some paint on glass stuff fairly, like, not, like, kind of frequently. I wasn't doing anything too fancy, though. Like, nothing as complex as Petrov. Is it Petrov? Yeah, but I think I like that style a lot more than other stuff. But you need to have the setup. You need to have a camera that points down. You need even lighting, and you need a like a desk, and you need just like the really specific stuff. Like you're probably going to need a specific way of taking each photo from like a clicker. Um, yeah, I would probably need a new. You need a booth. You really need a booth to do paint on glass, and yeah, you need to use oils. I do have some oils I've not really ever used, so I could probably do it quite easily. But like also doing the frame by frame stuff is pretty tough because you need to like have a plan. I mean, I guess you could do it all on paper first. Like you could do your animation on like, well, I guess you could do it digitally first, print it out on paper, and then use that as your basis while painting it. So you could just put each new frame under the last one and then take a photo when it's done. That's very like roundabouty. It is a very roundabouty way of doing it. If you could get a projected screen under your glass paint, that would be great, but that's not ideal for everyone. I think there are some programs that will let you kind of do something like that. Like they'll let you superimpose an image on top of your video feed, so you can look at that while painting. So there is that kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna add a little extra light because it's kind of dark in here right now. Can I adjust the? I could probably adjust the ISO on the camera if I need to. We're getting a little dark. Actually, maybe I'll just I'll bring the lights closer maybe. Yeah, I don't see why I can't just bring the light closer. There we go. That'll probably do it. That'll do it for now. Yeah, I think that'll do for now. Maybe I'll adjust the ISO in a bit though. Sorry, what were we talking about? Yeah, I think the hardest animation style is going to vary depending on people because there are going to be people who really that resonate with doing like stop motion animation, and that's I mean I've done stop motion, it's really tough. Or like there's going to be people who are like really into cutout. I always thought cutout was quite easy. It's quite like immediate, so there's like something quite fun about that. That it's so immediate to get your response. And you know, there are going to be people who prefer doing frame to frame animation or roto. Like it really is a preference thing more than like one is objectively the hardest to do. Because I just don't think that's necessarily true. It will be really varying. Because I mean, I couldn't personally animate on Flipnote, like on a little 3DS. I couldn't do all my animations on like a little 3DS screen on Flipnote. But there are some people who just do that, and they're very good at it. So like, yeah, it's really a preference thing in the end of the day. Have I ever played the Dot Hack series? Unfortunately, I haven't. I've only ever watched one episode of it back in the day. Yeah, there's so much to talk about Varna. Don't you have like a photography account with poses and cat pics and some merch, perhaps? I still remember that cool jacket from like a month ago. Do I have a photography account? I do not. Maybe, maybe I. Oh, it feels like the kind of thing that I would totally do. I would do like after I got a new phone because my current phone's camera is just really shit. I really don't like the camera on it. I feel like if I had a better phone, I would be more encouraged to take random photos of like my cat and upload them to Instagram or something, or like just transfer over like pictures I've taken, like you know drip photos I've taken. I usually post any drip stuff that I think is funny or fun on like Twitter, I guess usually. But maybe I need a dedicated account, but I don't know. It's like work. But I don't know. Maybe it'd be worth it one day. In the future, I'll think about it when I get a new phone. When my other phone dies and I have to buy a new one and it has like a decent camera on the back, I could totally see me doing it more. My jacket is in the other room though, I think. It's just too hot to wear. Actually, let's get the jacket. I won't wear it for long. I'm not wearing the jacket for long, but it's too hot to wear for long. But I'll wear it for a moment. Usually I wear these together. I've probably got 5 minutes until I sweat to death in this, but Let's go. How's it going, Amos? Yeah, I think the only glass animation that I've watched is Mob Psycho. Yeah, they don't. Well, obviously they don't really use it much in like the anime industry because it's a slow process. It's not really good for a week to week stuff unless you're like really expert in it. I think someone was saying about Pertroth. Like there's Old Man at Sea, which is really like experiment. It's like a very good, very polished 20-minute short using the oil on glass process. You'll probably find some other like earlier sort of stuff as well that he's done. I don't know. It's not one that's used too commonly, but I think it has a really nice style to it, which I really like. I also like how loose it can be. Like if I was gonna do like a short animation film, ideally paint on glass would be a great way of doing it. Like I think that would be a great way to like make it. And then maybe do some stuff on top of it, like maybe bring some of that footage into like After Effects and see if I can add other stuff. You know, like bring in different like if I want to bring in like an alien, like or a very like distinct figure, I could do it like in a different program digitally and then bring it on top of the oil paints and it'll really pop. It'll really stand out. Like you could do some really cool stuff with that, I reckon. Even just as like a background, like it would make great background. Like paint on oil on glass makes great backgrounds. What's the next studio month? Oh no, I think I said it prior. It's probably gonna be 4C, but it really depends on my timeline. If the Arno video takes too long to do, and it has to come out in December, I won't have the recovery or the energy. It just won't be healthy for me to do another one of those months if I release a video too close to it. I don't want to be running up to the line again because basically all the month videos I've done or the month series I've done, I've been running too close to the line and been doing a little bit too much damage, I think, to my health. The first one was not planned at all. The second one was I had like a week of prep beforehand. The third one I was more prepped. However, one video took so long, I lost all my prep and had to go back to like sort of like a like dire straits mode because I did that Vampire Hunter D video and editing that took like at least 9 to 12 days because it was so long. But beforehand I had a really good schedule for that project. It's just yeah I if I did another one, I need to make sure I have a lot of time beforehand to prep. I need at least 2 or 3 weeks to like get into the mode of just starting to do it ahead of the curve for the month. I think that would be the best. Oh, cat is around. The cat's probably coming. Let's have a Jack shot. Wait a minute. I think the cat's around. Maybe I'll add this one as well. Can I add that light to it? I can hear the cat. How'd that do? Because, yeah, I think the ISO is a little bit lower now, so maybe I should need to, yeah, add up a little bit more brightness. I can hear the cat. Okay, this is too hot to wear anymore. I'm sorry. It's already too hot. Oh, my God. Too hot. Too hot. Too hot. I'm steaming. I'm just melting. I'm going to have to take my brace off for a second. I don't know what... Oh, Lenny, I don't know what KK Flipnote is. Send me a link to it later. My favorite animator? I don't have any off the top of my head. Rotoscoping, it really depends because like I do a lot of rotoscoping, so I don't think it's that bad. Cat, you here? See, I brought the blanket specifically for you, so come on. Come on, come up. Come on, be on camera. Come on. Right. Hello. You gonna be on camera? Come on. There we go. Can people see you on the camera, or are you too dark? No, you can. You're seeable. You can be seen. Hey, baby. There we go. She's back. Yeah, I think 4C has a lot of interesting ones. But yeah, I think the best of both worlds approach would be to just do them. Oh, sorry, I might have pulled your whisker there for a second. Would be to do the movies as like separate days, and then to try and put them together in a bigger video afterwards with some extra stuff, like extra context. Does she need this light more than me? Maybe I can give her a little light there so people can see her better. She looks a bit more amber. I don't know if that actually helped. I think it just made it more ambient. Maybe if I put it in the front. Her name is Squeak. You can call her Cat or Squeak. I did not give her a name, unfortunately. She was given it because of her, let's say, personality. She's very loud at all times. Unless she's sleeping, really. Or chilling. But yeah, I've seen a lot of Four Seas films, so I think it'll probably be a good one to go into. But it's a good excuse to watch all of them. I'm not really sure how I'm going to approach the Berserk stuff. That might just be ending up be like 3 movies in one. Not really sure how I'm going to do it, but I don't know, I'll figure it out. There we go. She's respite, you know? She's just hanging out, chilling out. How old is she? She's 1'8". I think she's like roughly 18 to 19 years old. She's an old cat. She's kind of blind. She might be losing her smell and her, like, hearing a little bit. I don't know. It's hard to tell. She's definitely lost a lot of her sight. She's not very good at seeing things anymore. I wonder if her hearing's that much good anymore. And sometimes she can't seem to know what's on her plate. So, yeah. She's getting real old. Squeaky McSqueak. There you go. But, you know, she's still enjoying herself. Yeah, I mean, I agree, Ego. From what I've seen, I much prefer the '97 show. Though, like, I don't know. I don't know if I would want to make the video strictly like a negative piece, but it may end up being a kind of, I don't know. It might end up being a sort of, here's what's lost, here's what's changed and gained, or something like that. Here's the intention. I'm really curious about the intention because to me right now, I'm so baffled why they chose to remake something that's already been a TV show. And the problems with the TV show was probably a lot in its like kind of truncating or removing certain bits. That would be some of my beef, I guess. Like, I mean, it removes some. I guess it's for censorship as well. Like they remove some of the like Guts's like backstory, like around trauma, which I think is kind of an important thing to lose contextually about why he doesn't like to be touched and stuff like that. But I understand like if it was a TV recommend like thing. But yeah, I kind of be interested to see what's gained, what's lost, what's changed, and why they wanted to do it. That would be, to me, the most fascinating thing about those 3 films is just seeing how they evolve. Because there's some, I think it's really nice that they've got the dance scene with Guts and Kefka, right? Kafka? It's Casca, is it? I always want to. Always want to call her Kafka, but I think it's Casca. But yeah, the dance scene they have is really. I love that scene in the manga, so it was really nice seeing them do something like that for the movies. Put your glasses on, yeah, classic. Yeah, and also that Hirasawa soundtrack for this TV show is just unmatched. There's a lot of great tracks for the later versions. Like I know quite well the soundtrack for the CGI one has some really like good songs in it. Blood and Guts is such a banger. Like I love Blood and Guts. And there's definitely some great like songs out there. Though I think it is hard to beat like some of Hirosawa's original soundtrack for like Berserk. It's such a weird choice, I guess, because like it's not like I don't think anyone else would have scored Berserk like Hirasawa did, and yet now I cannot see any other way of doing it. The way he did it was so like inconsuming, like the way those themes, like even like the Guts theme, just how the Guts theme is now just like meme sad music, or yeah, or like Forces, or just like the darker themes. Like it's just so on brand. Even like the is it the what's it called, the Balamont, the Ballot, like that theme. Like it's such an alien way of doing it, but it fits so perfectly. Like I kind of would expect in most situations that you'd probably like score like Berserk almost in like just harsh metal, like metally, really like you take it to like the cheese factor, like you're taking it to like Castlevania metal covers, or like you'd end up with something like more like Lord of the Ringsy, where it's like they try and go like dark orchestra. But instead, like there's a very different choice. Like electronic was always a strange choice for that kind of, especially in that time period to go with in there. But it just fits so well. But yeah, I mean, Blood and Guts is a little bit more traditional. Like Blood and Guts definitely feels closer to something you'd expect from a Berserk thing. You know, like it has the very Greek. I don't know. Would it be Greek? Kind of like operatic choir of people like singing this theme and very larger than life orchestration. And then I guess some of the more metal experiences, what I'd expect from an action scene. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Kira, the issue probably goes further than that. Like, Polygon didn't have a lot of time. Was it Polygon? It wasn't Polygon. Was it Polygon? No, yeah. Berserk was Polygon, wasn't it? It was Polygon Pictures. I believe they had a lot of problems with redesigning, and I think they did a complete revamp of the style, which really hit into their like actual period to do keyframes. So they never really could get there. Though like Polygon style for me doesn't usually hit very well. I'm not really a huge fan of like what Polygon does. Outside of their like I think their compositing work or like their side work is more interesting to me. Just because I'm not a fan of like CGI trying to emulate like really specific anime interpolation, like trying to make it look like they're cutting frames all the time. Like I think you can make it work, but like when it's done like quickly, it looks very choppy. I'd rather it just like run at like a smooth frame rate. That's my preference, but obviously, like I think people have made it work. Like Into the Spider Verse uses like frame interpolation all over the place and looks great. I think it's like it's how you do it, I guess, in the end of the day. But like most shows I've seen that try and do like anime interpolation, trying to like make their 3D show look like a 2D show, like I don't like it. I think you should be using the advantages of your medium, not trying to pretend to be another one. I've seen a little bit of Crybaby, but I've read Devilman and I've seen the OVAs, and like I haven't been like I'm no in no rush to watch Crybaby. It's a very different take on the source material in ways where I'm like, but I probably will watch it at some point. I just haven't really sat down and done it. I mean, I like Yuasa, so I'd probably enjoy it. It's definitely his take on it, so I'll give him that. A guerrilla production, was it? That well though, it was just baffling how everything just keeps going and going. Yeah, I'm not. I'm a bit confused about like when is the 2016 show even set? Because I've seen clips. I've only watched very little of it. Like I've seen like most of the first episode, but like where is it set? Because the first episode is like the original manga, but then it like seems to teleport into the future of like later parts of the manga where they have like the group of kids and everything. So it seems like they do like a time skip because they don't want to do the Golden Age arc again, I guess. I'm wondering if the reason the movies exist is so they could have made a TV show like set after the Golden Age without having to redo it. Because like, it'd been so long, I guess they couldn't justify just doing beyond the Golden Age. So maybe that was the whole reason they did the movies. Maybe that was all it was supposed to all lead into the TV show, but I have no idea. 4C didn't do the TV show, so it's hard for me to say. I know Candy Candy. Candy with Candy was big in France in the 70s. It's like a show, like shoujo thing, right? I'm familiar with the concept of it. I just don't know it too well. I just know it was really big in France. Have I watched Kaiba? I've seen a bit of Kaiba. Yeah, I should definitely sit down and watch more of Kaiba. Am I excited for the new Bebop? No, I don't really care. I don't care about live action adaptations of anime. They don't interest me, unless they're done by people I think are interesting. Like, I'll probably say this in my Nausicaa video, but I'm actually very interested in seeing Arno do a live action version of Nausicaa. If it was anyone else, I would say it's a terrible idea. But watching Arno make live action Nausicaa, I think would be fascinating. Even if it was bad, because I feel he has such a specific vision, and like Nausicaa so resonates with his soul that like the stuff later on the manga would be so it would be good to see his take on it. and the sets would be great. And I'm sure he'd use like some of those costumes they've already got designed, which are like pretty like super accurate. And maybe if we're lucky, we'd get some like really cool like miniatures of like the Olm or something like that, like Olm shells or big old like giant miniatures of like forests, or just I could imagine him doing all kinds of things that would be great to see. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, France, out of all of those, France and Italy, I'd say France probably likes anime more, like in terms of like how many distributions they do yearly. I've seen the numbers. France does, but France is also a lot bigger than Italy. But to be fair, in Europe or the Europe area, England is really the king of distribution. We tend to get more titles than the rest, and France is second, and then I think it would probably be Italy. Italy likes very specific stuff. Big on Lupin, like bigger than the rest of Europe. They love Lupin in Italy. I've heard they like Nausicaa quite a bit, but it's hard to tell. I've asked several people. I've gotten different answers. I hear they like jumped on more so later on with like Princess Mononoke, but I think in some of the older fans really liked Nausicaa back in the day. It's interesting also that Mexico is the main reason why we got why anime got popular in North America. You sure about that, Kara? Because Astro Boy hit in '63, and that was like funded by you know American TV public television. I mean, I would say that like there wasn't really technically anime in the traditional sense before Astro Boy, so I'm pretty sure America hit that anime train before Mexico did. It's just that there was a bumpy period between the '70s to the '80s to the '90s because of multiple reasons. I believe that America's actually specifically started publishing more animation in their country because they didn't want to have a ton of international animation taking up kids' soft power influence, which they eventually couldn't avoid. But they wanted the Hanna Barberas and stuff to be what kids knew, not cartoons from Italy, France, and Japan, all that. Though I know Southern American has its own history with anime, which is pretty fascinating in its own right. Do I personally prefer anime or manga? I mean, I'm more of an anime guy because I'm more of an animation guy. Like, I like making things move. I'm into that sort of stuff, so that makes more sense to me. I like manga too. I just don't read that much. I struggle reading stuff usually. Like I used to read a lot more when I was on the bus, like when I had to go to work on the bus and such, or when I had to go to college on the bus. That's when I did a ton of reading. Now I don't do as much reading unless it's for a project. Like I read Nausicaa. I read all of Nausicaa in like 3 days, and I read most of that in the last 2 days. I read 1,000 pages in like 2 days. It was insane. My brain turned to mush. Yeah, I mean, you can hear that with a lot of the like Mexico. I wouldn't be surprised that Mexico bought so much from Japan because it's cheaper than redubbing. And yeah, America probably had a higher distribution cost than Japan did back in the '80s or whenever. Oh, specifically the Latin American region. Oh yeah, that's fair. Right, I thought you meant like Astro, going back to Astro Boy or something. But yeah, yeah, in like the '70s to '80s, '90s, yeah, probably Mexico seems to have had a big impact on that. Localization of anime like Jungle Book and Arabian Nights, the '70s one. Um, in Hindi in the '90s were an introduction, and that's interesting. Which Arabian Nights is that? So you said '70s one, so I'm guessing is that the Toei Arabian Nights, or wait, or is it like 1,001 Nights, the adult one? I'm trying to think. Maybe it's one I haven't seen. But yeah, it's interesting how different nations got to anime, and it usually has to do with distribution and localization. Well, obviously, because how else are you going to get it, especially before the internet? Can I give you a good hand drawn recent hand? They're all hand drawn. Recent adult film like A Perfect Blue. I'm not the person to ask about that because I don't keep up like with all the trends of modern films. Um, Someone else in the chat's probably better at that than me. There's probably is one. It's not really my forte to know what's happened in anime in the last 10 years. I'm not really up to date. I don't watch a lot of like recent anime because I'm busy doing my videos, and usually they're not about them. Toby with the Sinbad series, long series. Interesting. Is that like the 50 episode one? Kira, where are you from? You watched Urusei Yatsura first. That's really fascinating. They had a BBC dub for Urusei Yatsura, but it got cancelled really quickly. They only did like 2 episodes. But I thought it was funny. I thought the British dub of Urusei Yatsura was funny. I thought it sounded like they were having a lot of fun, like localizing it. I would have watched like the whole series that way. I'd love to watch it all that way actually. But I mean, I guess I'm fine watching it in Japanese. It's just like, yeah, the humor, sometimes humor doesn't transfer as well between languages, so you make the best you can. Abhi, yeah, we're working on the Nausicaa project now. I've said it before, we're working on a Nausicaa video, and I think I put it in the chat for the Patreon. The first part of the Nausicaa video is already done. The next part is almost done. It's going to be like about 40 minutes of a Nausicaa video, and then afterwards we're going to have a smaller video on Fantastic Planet, which is a French sort of smaller picture. Probably going to be a smaller video, like 11, somewhere between 10 to 15 minutes long. It's just going to be a little follow-up. I have reasons for that. There'll be also an update video after these ones as well, or around that time, to kind of give people a context of what we're doing for the channel, and sort of hyping up or giving people the expectation that the next big project might take some time, which will be on Hideaki Anno, and after that, who knows? So that's what we're working on. Recent adult, I'm still thinking about recent adult animation. I mean, maybe like I don't know if it's that recent, but there's what was it called? It was by the director of the new Gundam film. The new Gundam film made a film that was an adaptation of a sci-fi novel from Japan. A couple years back, I guess it was like 2015, maybe 13, 14. Those were pretty interesting. But yeah, it's the director of the newest Gundam film that came out this year, I think it was. He did a film recently. Before that, I mean, I guess the new Gundam film was also an adult one, but yeah, those two are the only thing I can think of. First gen Mexican American, but Mexico they distributed it, so I would regularly watch shows from Mexico television stations. That's pretty cool. That's really cool actually. I didn't know Urusei Yatsura made its way to Mexico or that it was popular there. But I mean, it's worldwide popular, I guess. But that's yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah, Hathaway's the name of it. Yeah, the person who directed Hathaway, I think they did Ergo Proxy as well. They did a film a couple years beforehand, which was like a sci-fi film that was based on a Japanese sci-fi novel that did pretty well. The novelist himself unfortunately passed away tragically back then, around 2009 I think they passed away. They were friends with Kojima, I know that much, and they were planning to do a lot with they were actually going to do some Metal Gear entries, I believe. They did a novelization of Metal Gear Solid 4 as well, but I think they were planning to be the person who wrote the series after Kojima was going to leave, but for real. Yeah. To be fair, I hope Pluto comes out soon, because that would be a really cool thing to recommend when Murayama eventually finishes the Pluto series. In the world of ideas, a faithful live-action movie... This is from Ego Dreamer. So a faithful live-action movie, I agree with that, yeah, would be really awesome, but I prefer to hold the production today well... I don't know if it'll be one-to-one, but I do think that the way Arno would do it would be interesting at least. Just because I think he'd use miniatures and other little techniques, which I think would give its own flavour. Though, yeah, the CG probably isn't really quite there, but if he was using models, I think that would be cool. I think it would look cool, and I feel he would find ways of bringing that sort of animation style to it, and be playful with it. Though I think he probably would take a more serious tone to it, which the later manga does, embody. Like in his commentary, I remember him using the words, "This is a bit manga movie at times," which I think he means is a bit cartoonish. Like there are moments which I don't necessarily think he thinks it was bad, but like there are like almost like manga panel moments in the thing where it's like swing, like there's like lightning swing with swords and other stuff like that, which I think he got him a giggle out of him. I've rather seen what. I mean, if Arno wants to do an original work, he'll do an original work. If he wants to do Nausicaa, he'll do Nausicaa. I have a feeling that he's more interested in adapting other projects, like, Ultraman and Kamen Rider and other properties that he really likes, than he is necessarily that interested in doing originals. But I wouldn't be surprised if he also does an original sometime soon as well. I think it's not going to be either or. I think he can do both, and that's a reasonable request. It's just that, like, obviously, in the world of, like, especially Japanese theatre, doing original is a much bigger, like, investment, a much more dangerous investment than doing something with a brand name. And I know, like, with, like, Ava 3.0 plus 1, there's an interview where he says, I was going to make my own film, but in the end, I thought I could probably fit it into the Ava universe and do it that way. I think it was with 3 as well, maybe for the last 2, where he's just like, yeah, I think I could have done it with a different project, like, name, but it would have not been successful. And, like, that's a pragmatic response to do, like, weird original ideas under the IPs that are already established. That, like, when Arno comes to those IPs, say, for example, like Kamen Rider or Ultraman, they're pretty much, his name is so big, they'll let him do anything. Like, he can make his own, and he'll call it Shin Ultraman or whatever, and he'll do whatever he wants with the idea. Instead of making, like, Zoltraman, he can just do it with a project now because he's that, like, big. And that's a power to be. Alright, I need to go to the toilet, everyone, so I'll be back in a second. 1 second. I'll probably put some music back on too. Where's my... that one? No, not that one. That one, there we go. Alright, let's find some nice chill hop. Put back on nice chill Sonic music. I will be back in a moment. And it is... Oh. All right, we're back. We're back. I'll be here in a sec. Boo boo boo. It's getting dark. I need to turn anything else on. Oh, whoopsie. Oh dear. Oh well. Well, I guess we'll just make the lighting harsher. Well, I guess we're just going brighter. There we go. Here's what it is. Just moved up. There we go. There we go. That should do. Right, we can all hear me. Hope, the audio okay? I'm just going to double check. Like, are we good on the audio? Ultraman, I'd watch that. Yeah, I'd probably watch Ultraman too. Do I want models of midgets because I want to be able to feel that weight? I mean, maybe, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't not say it. I like, oh, Genocidal Organ. That's probably it. The film you were referring to was previously Genocidal Organ. That was definitely the film I was thinking of. Yeah. I want to see a samurai show in space. I mean, it's probably one of those somewhere. A movie version of Death Stranding. I mean, to be fair, like Kojima kind of needs to just stop being a coward and make a live action movie because he's been wanting to do it for so long. Just Kojima, just do it. Just make a live action film. It can be a short, whatever. Just make a live action film, bro. Like, just do it. Like, stop pretending like I've got famous actors. No, just make a live action film. Get out of your system and go back to making and then make some games. It's not a big deal. Just do it. It's fine. You can do that. You're in that position now. You can absolutely make a live action film and no one would bat an eye. Yeah, Kira, I mean, I've heard behind the scenes, Nadia's production was a little bit of a nightmare, but I'd have to read up on it more because I don't want to go with hearsay. I've even seen people like edit out those like there's like an 8 episode clump, I believe, that people are just like there are cuts you can watch where it's been like removed or just the bare information's in that part. So instead of watching like 8 episodes, you watch like two, which dedication to the fans, I guess. But I'll have to read up on all the behind the scenes details. I don't want to be giving like this is what I've heard stories. I want to know what happened. But yeah, it sounds like it was a bit of a miserable production from what I've heard. But I need to read more. I want to see Love and Pop, definitely. Salterman, yes, Saltergeist. Yeah, you're pretty much the Salterman here. What's Kamen Rider? Is it like Power Rangers? Kind of. It's like a tokusatsu kind of thing. But they're like they're like motorcycle riding bug guys. It's similar to Power Rangers, like Super. Well, I think Kamen Rider predates Power Rangers, Super Sentai. I'm pretty sure it does. It's like Kamen Rider is there's, enemies are like dark. Yeah, it's like one of those long running shows from Japan. One from his youth, especially. I think Kojima also really used to like Kamen Rider. He posted about it on Twitter the other day. He was like, I'm a big fan of Kamen Rider. Big fan of Kamen Rider. I like Kamen Rider. Like it was like a different show every week. It was a vampire one week, another week something else was going on. It was wild. That's what he said. That's what Kojima sounds like in my fantasy world. That's what he sounds like. I think you could find Love and Pop somewhere. I'm sure it must be out there around. It can't be hard to find. It's probably like one of those illicit sites, if not anything, like a Niar or whatever. Uh, Samurai 8? I don't even know there was a Samurai 8. I mean, is that like the sequel to Samurai 7? I mean, Soneherd, I mean, it's not really what you want, it's what Kojima wants, and I think he wants to make a movie, so just let him do it. Just let him get it out, because instead of like throwing a 7 hour film into his games, it would be nice for him to learn. You know, have that reset. Oh, you researched the posed a video that's a production. That's interesting. You got the sources for that, Kira? You got the sources for all the Nadia stuff? I'm interested in the sources at least. Yeah. I was pretty sure it predated Super Sentai because like Kamen Rider is like 60s. Nadia is cool. I have Nadia on Blu-ray. I do have that. Kira, you might not be able to link it in the chat, unfortunately, because of like the filters. Because I can barely link anything. But if you can, I don't know, DM it to someone if they didn't want it. Oh, it's a big. Oh, it's still on the cat site, is it? Oh, Samurai. It was by Naruto. Oh, Naruto guy. Well, I guess that's unfortunate. Have I seen Mind Game? I've seen a little bit of Mind Game, although I guess I got a little story of Mind Game. Mind Game, you couldn't buy Mind Game in the UK a while back. Then they had a Kickstarter. Now you can. I was interested in buying a copy, but there's just no extras on it. There's like, and I found There was this video online I found with like this cool behind the scenes stuff. But yeah, the English release of Mind Game doesn't have any like extras on it, so I didn't really feel that dedicated to buying it. Like if there was some cool stuff on the disc, I'd have probably bought it. But I'll probably just end up watching it somewhere else instead. Mind Game is cool though, from what I've seen at least. I've seen some little sections of it. Yeah, I just posted that video above the comment. Oh, I don't know. I didn't know if I could see it. It might not have shown up on the stream. They might be blocking you. Yeah, there's no link in the chat, I'm afraid. It hasn't came up. I mean, Kira, if you've got your sources in the... Do you have your sources in the description, Kira? Zoneherd, I appreciate that you liked the Elfen Lied video. It did a lot better than I thought, but it also got age restricted, which has also kind of hurt the channel. It's a duality. It's a duality of situation where the video did really, really well, but got age restricted, which now makes it almost feel like YouTube feel that I haven't released a video in like 6 months. Because it won't recommend the Elfen Lied video anymore because it's age restricted. So yeah, I've noticed numbers have went, unfortunately. After that happened, but hopefully when the next video comes out, they'll go back up again. But I mean, the views we did get were pretty great. We got to like 97,000 views. Insane. I never thought that video would do that well. I was hoping at most 20, so almost 100,000 is great. I've seen a bit of Genius Party though. I've talked about some of the cuts beforehand. Wait, I thought, isn't Mind Game a 4C project? I didn't think it's a Science Zero. I don't think Science Zero existed back then, did it? Oh, okay, yeah, someone's always saying it's before. Queensplay. Yeah, there was a Queensplay PSP game, wasn't there? I think it was separate to the show, though. I just posted what was interesting on the YouTube. That's behind the scenes of Arno. There's production working on Nardia. Oh, you mean yeah, the one by Arno Cinema. Yeah, I know the one you're talking about. There's like the Arno Cinema documentary on Nardia, right? That's from like the Japanese, I guess, specials. That one's good. I need to watch that down. Genius Party has some pretty wild stuff in it. Can't you release the censored version so you can at least get the way? That was the censored version. It was the censored version. I have an adults-only version. My censored version got God. I don't know if I can. I literally I don't think it's worth it. I don't know if it's worth me trying to like redo it again to try and get, because I censored the shit out of the video, but there was 2 factors that might have done me. I left in child spine. Probably shouldn't have left that child spine in. I may try and crop it out, and then I don't know if that will do anything, but maybe I should try that. I don't know. I left in some child spine, but also Elfen Lied is really violent. So like even if I've like covered up all the nudity and like Elfen Lied is just so violent, I might not be able to avoid the guidelines just because it's just so extreme. And like contextually for the video, I can't remove the gore, really. So I don't know. I don't think there's much hope in re-editing. I already did a lot of editing, but yeah, the child spine definitely killed me, to be honest. But that was the censored version. That was the censored version we got adults only. I already had an adults only version that was exclusively on Patreon. Yeah, Mind Game seems cool. Thank you, Soku-sen. World... Wait, actually, it's probably best... but HFC is probably easier. HFC, yeah, if you want to watch Legend of the White Serpent, you might be able to find it now in better quality than I did. Like, when I found that movie, I could only find it in 240p. They've done 4K restorations in Japan now. So you might actually be able to find, like, a really nice, crisp version of Legend of the White Serpent. So that might be a good shot. Let's see where we're at. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing I can really do about it. I just have to be, I guess, next time I have to be even more like vigilant. But yeah, the child spine is probably what got me. But then again, there is nudity. Well, I covered the nudity, but it's still nudity to YouTube. So like, if you look at their like guidelines, even blurred nudity is like not acceptable usually. Though I did like a lot of work to cover the nudity, but like it probably wasn't enough for them because it's still nudity. But I did as much as I could. But it may have been able to save. It may have been able to save it if it wasn't for the gratuitous amount of violence and nudity and the child spine. Probably the child spine definitely did me in. Again, I can probably remove a lot of the child spine, but I can't really remove the part where they splice the child in two. So I don't know if I can win that one. I mean, it's the first time I've ever been age restricted, so like it's a bit of a game to me. I'll have to like get better at the rules as time goes on. If I ever do like a video on Legend of the Overfiend, I'll be more vigilant. Though I'm more interested in like the controversy around it and like the British press that rather than some other stuff, to be honest. Queen's Blade is a pretty interestingly. I think that the people behind Queen's Blade have a lot of talent behind them, and I really appreciate what they did, especially the main two. And also so God, what's his name? Is it Rishi? What was it? God, what's that guy's name? Redden? The guy that did the character designs. I really like his stuff. But yeah, like it's a very particular horny. How's it going, Bluenix? Stream, not torrent. Sorry, where were we? I saw the trailer for the new Silent Sarah film, yeah. Hopefully it doesn't abuse the staff like its prior ones. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of annoying that the ARMS video did get like age restricted, but again, there's nothing I can do about it really. Though it got out to a lot more people than I thought it would, so I guess now it's just a game of like, if people really like the video, they have to share it with people directly because YouTube won't. The only way you'll find it is probably through like strictly looking it up now, or like maybe I don't think you'll find it in suggested video. I think you're gonna have to just look it up and find it yourself. Or maybe it will be in like the sidebar of like other adults only videos, like the Hazels or something. But yeah, it's unfortunate that happened. But you know, I mean, most of it's fine. It's just like when you talk about really specific stuff, Alpha and Lead especially, like it's not much I can do. Will I ever do a video on Macross? I had an idea for one once, but I'm not really feeling it right now. I don't know. Like, there's an idea there somewhere. Maybe it would be about the licensing and like the history of it all. But like, I would prefer like Macross actually hit better, like better distribution in whole. I don't know. Maybe one day. I mean, I'd probably make a Gundam video before I make a Macross video, though. Why would people compare Miyazaki's personality to the art of like Ito or Junki Ito? What, the Uzumaki guy? I don't know. I think comparing artists sometimes is a bit of a fool's errand unless they have direct correlation. It's just not worth it. I know it makes you look a bit foolish sometimes. Yeah, I mean, Yamada left to go Science Zero or something. I mean, people talking about it in the chat. Yeah, I mean, it happens. Like, directors don't tend to stay at the same studio for long. It's kind of rare that she did stay as long as she did, to be honest. But you know, she's KyoAni will be fine without her. They have a lot of talented staff, and it's very competitive. If anything, it gives her space for her like proteges to like actually step into the limelight and become their own like figures. Because I think ultimately KyoAni's name means more than Yamada's. Yamada's? Yamada, sorry, isn't it? I mean, it only happened a couple of days ago, yeah. It's more or less based on the art, since Miyazaki is cold and serious while he draws beautiful artwork and well, I don't even want to say that because like we don't know these people, but like Miyazaki has like a lot of different fronts, and you generally see that Miyazaki is a lot more friendly when he's not in production. Like when you're working with him, he's a fucking nightmare by the sounds of it. He's a real asshole, and like he's very specific and very particular, like a real dictator of the animation studio. And he doesn't like he doesn't pretend he's not. But if you talk to him casually, he seems like he's a pretty friendly guy. Like I mean, he's very friendly to children. It's not like he's like telling them to fuck off or anything. I think it really does depend on the context because people are multifaceted, individuals. Like he has a bit of an edge to him, but like yeah, if you're friendly with him and like you talk honestly, you probably. Well, I mean, I wouldn't even say that because let's be real, none of us are going to meet Miyazaki, and I probably don't want to. He's like he's like an 82-year-old man or whatever. He's old. He's an old man. What am I going to talk to Miyazaki about? Our realities are so beyond the pale. Like, we'll probably be talking about animation, and then that's his own discussion of like, what even animation am I going to talk to him about? Watch this cool YouTube video and be like, what's a YouTube? He's like, yeah, okay, there we go. I mean, I think Yamada left the studio, but I don't know. It's possible that she could go back. Like, I don't, you don't need to leave a studio forever, right? She could go back if she wants. Am I going to make more anime stuff in the future? I mean, that's what the channel's kind of about, so I don't know what that really what that means, but yeah, it's kind of the plan. I mean, it's what I've been talking about. Where were we at? Yeah, I mean, they're both very passionate. That's true Ego Dreamer. Both Ito and Miyazaki are definitely passionate about their craft, even in different fields. You know what, Hazel? I haven't actually seen CC Gundam, but I would love to watch it, and I think I would enjoy it. It sounds like a good time. I like the clips I've seen. Sounds like a lot of fun. I don't know. I think Tomino's really interesting. Anyway, I find Tomino's style of doing stuff very, like, fascinating. So like, I think I'd get on with most of his projects, even if they are like galaxy brained at times. Do I have any shows in mind? I mean, I've been talking about it, Sonherd. We're talking, the next video is Nausicaa. Then after Nausicaa, Fantastic Planet, which is French, so I guess it's not really anime, but there's a tangential connection between those two. They're going to be together. Then it's Arno, so we're talking about all the Arno things. And then after that, maybe we'll be talking about 4C stuff. I guess a lot of that's movie stuff. Although, maybe next year as well, we might talk about Future Boy Conan, because obviously they're doing the re-release, so it'd be the best time to talk about Future Boy Conan. Would be, I don't know, maybe January or something. I don't know. Whenever it releases in my country, I'll make a video about. Maybe I'll do a Future Boy Conan video. That's not what happens in the Kingdom of Dreams. He was given up on Takahata as a filmmaker, no, and complains so much about him almost ruling the studio. I mean, that kind of he's frustrated for obvious reasons. I don't know if it necessarily almost ruined the studio, but like yeah, when Miyazaki wasn't paying attention, the production went to shit. I wouldn't say it ruined the studio. I mean, it could have if Mononoke didn't do well, I guess. But like Takahata, well, you have to understand Miyazaki like complains about everything, but like he complains about the people he likes the most. Like Takahata was like his number two. Like there's no one closer to Miyazaki than Takahata. He was like his idol. Like he dedicated his youth to. He said this. I dedicated my youth to Takahata, and he did that for a very specific reason. Like I feel he always felt like he was the number two to Takahata, but like he spent a lot of the day talking about Takahata, both negative and positive. How much he loved Heidi and other stuff, and I don't know. That's just Miyazaki's just very blunt, especially with the people he likes. We will talk about Amano one day. Um, maybe the best time to do an Amano video will be when Final Fantasy 16 comes out, which might be next year. But like, yeah, I would totally be. I'm very interested in doing a Amano video, though it might not be the most soon to be project. I'll probably bring it up in the update video because like Toriyama, because there's a new Dragon Ball movie coming. I could see Toriyama happening first, like next year. Because I'd love to do a Toriyama video. Be a fucking pain in the ass, but I'll do it. Where were we at? If I ever do a video on Gundam, I mean, maybe we'll talk about that, about the villain's specific intentions, but it depends. Um, I will have to watch everything and really figure out what I want to focus in on. But yeah, Abati, Miyazaki talks about all his friends really harshly. It's just how he is. And they talk about him harshly. It's like, I mean, Takahata has shit talked Miyazaki more than most. Like, Takahata once gave Nausicaa a 30 out of 100 in the album. All right, the book that's supposed to advertise, so the Roman book, like the Roman album for Nausicaa, which is supposed to be the promotional book for Nausicaa. Suzuki, the publisher, right, he asked Takahata, what would you give Nausicaa? And he goes, I'll give it 30 out of 100. This is supposed to promote the film. And he was like, I'd give it 30 out of 100. As a producer, yeah, 100%. But as a film, 30 out of 100. I think there's definitely some problems there. So yeah, like, fucking savage, boy. Miyazaki was fucking distraught. I don't think you get much blunter than like shit talking someone's actual film in the thing that's supposed to be like promoting the film. Oh. I mean, it is a bit like industry leading shit posting each other. But like, you'll hear it with Tomino as well, because Tomino used to work with Miyazaki, and recently he had that story where he was like, "That fucking bastard Miyazaki was redrawing my storyboards when we were working on like Heidi." And he's like, "Mm." But he also seems to have enjoyed working with Miyazaki. He seemed to like it, but he was also annoyed that apparently, behind his back, Miyazaki had redrew all the storyboards in certain episodes. I don't know, maybe he didn't like them or something, and he just did it without telling him. But like, I mean, I don't think it was supposed to be funny. I think Takahata was just being honest. But like Oshi's the same. Like Oshi and Miyazaki also shit talk each other like really bluntly. Like all of Miyazaki's friends are like that. They're just that kind of people. Like a lot of the old creators, they all like ravenously like fucking roast each other. But then they're also like, obviously, in the end of the day, you can tell they respect each other. Because like Oshi will still say like, actually, yeah, Howl's Moving Castle is my favorite of Miyazaki's film because of this, that, and the other. But like they all still, and again with Arno, because Arno can also be really blunt with Miyazaki's films. I've seen him say Princess Mononoke's compositions are terrible. There's too much, like it's too flat. There's not enough space between the compositions. I've seen him say that. And stuff like him being like, I only like Ponyo up to the point about the halfway point. The mother was my favorite part. She was really sexy. And when everything got flooded and the later stuff happened, I kind of lost interest. Like they talk like that about each other. And of course, Miyazaki roasting fucking Ava was like the ultimate thing. Like when they're in the desert, where he's just like, I think what did he say? He said, I think your candidness is one of your greatest strengths. Like your candid and optimisticness was one of your greatest strengths, Arno, and yet you made a work of like Ava where it shows none of your strengths whatsoever. Like these guys fucking they go in, and to their faces too. It's always very funny. But honestly, I think it's hard to beat Takahata like shit talking the film that just came out that almost like fucking brutalized this man, like literally as this publishment, like literally as the film comes out in the thing that's supposed to promote it. Like I think that is like the most brutal you can be, to be like, meh. Yeah, I mean, we'll probably bring out some of the comments depending on the video. If I did Tomino, I would absolutely bring up the situation. If we do Arno, we'll probably bring up some of those Miyazaki. Miyazaki will be a key figure in the Arno video because for whatever shit talking they do, Miyazaki obviously cares about Arno quite a bit, and Jenny seems to like him and has spent a lot of time trying to like comfort him during his depressional like spirals. So like there does seem to be like there's a genuineness behind it, but they're just like that. And I think they like that about each other because when Arno talked about like meeting Miyazaki, he said one of the things he liked about him is his edge. He likes that he speaks his mind very bluntly, and he said that I think that Miyazaki will like that about him because he was like at the time he was a bit of a punk kid and he had no filter either and he just like say whatever. And I think Miyazaki really liked that about him, even though they're like so different, like they're from different worlds. Miyazaki liked how like I guess blunt and like very particular Arno is, even though he's like, to quote, an alien to him. It's just bants. Yeah, it is literally just bants. Like that's probably the best way of putting it. Like they're just bantering each other, but they probably do mean the stuff they say. Just like they're just like very critical of each other because they expect the highest results because of how much respect they give each other. Um, Miyazaki might hate the Beatles. I'm not sure where you got that translation from. I mean, there's a lot of like fake translations when it comes to Miyazaki saying stuff. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't like the Beatles because he's got a very particular taste, that man. So like, it wouldn't surprise me. But I can't for the life of me remember a time when he was shit talking the Beatles. Though it sounds like something he'd do. But again, like I don't know. I'd have to see the translation. Have to know where it's coming from. What book's it in? What like interview? When did he do it? Haven't heard it myself, but like he doesn't usually talk about music too much, and Miyazaki isn't like an expert in music anyway. I think he said it himself. Like Takahata's like the music expert, not him. Like Takahata's the reason that Joe Hisashi is on his films to begin with, and in his early films, Takahata and Joe were the people who dealt with the music. It wasn't until a little bit later that Miyazaki started putting input into the music outside of him like very passionately explaining the plot of his films and the concepts. That was the insight he had in his early productions. Yeah, basically. NHK, what the one that never ends? Is it the Never Ending Man? Is that it? The Never Ending Man, Miyazaki, right? The one that never ends. I'm guessing has to be the Never Ending Man from 2016. It depends who translated, I guess. It might be a shit translation. I've only watched like segments of The Neverending Man, including the part where he goes out of retirement. I never watched the whole thing, but I mean, if Miyazaki said he didn't like the Beatles, I mean, I could see it. Like, I mean, I don't think that really means much. Like, I mean, he'd probably see it as like Miyazaki being a traditionalist. I don't know if he listens to any international bands that aren't like Russian or something. Yeah, I mean, actually, Abdi, there's a very specific thing about Takahata's philosophy that you have to understand, and this is in Suzuki's book, and it's that like Takahata sees films. He doesn't give a shit about the deadline. He sees the film reel itself as a hostage, and it will be done when it's done. So like, I remember one of my friends once said something along the lines that like Miyazaki makes like very fantastical films, but like his productions are very realistic. But like Takahata makes very realistic films, but his production line is complete fantasy. There's no like production like goal in mind at all. It'll be done when it's done, and like that's why they take so long. And like especially with Kaguya, it seems almost like just like the way they did it. A lot of the time, I'm like, are you fucking mad? Like a lot of the ways they did stuff, like they didn't have like color palettes pricked out. They like color picked every scene and stuff like that, or like how we hadn't finished the storyboards, in like the 7 years of production they'd got to, or the 7 or 6, 7 years of production they were in, he hadn't finished the storyboards yet. Just stuff like that, where it's just like, really, you haven't done that yet? And just like little bits and pieces like that, where he was kind of like going out without the structure. But yeah, Takahata likes to keep his That's pretty much the same for any production Takahata's ever done. It's like that he doesn't really respect the deadline at all. But yeah, of course they know each other very well. Yeah, I mean, Hosoda didn't direct House because they wanted him to do like Miyazaki stuff, and he didn't want to do that. So he left. I mean, Hosoda seems to be very enamored with early Miyazaki, especially Cagliostro, which he seemed very inspired by as a child. Though, like, he obviously has a very different vision, and he may still have a chip on his shoulder about the whole Ghibli event. But it seems like he thinks in retrospect it was better for him to go off and make his own studio and do his own thing. Which I think is fair. Like, you know, it gives him more control. It gives him a lot more control and creative freedom, which he just wouldn't have under Suzuki. They would kind of expect him to run in the Ghibli way. And like, it seems to be a real struggle for people outside of the main cast to stay like as a consistent director at Ghibli, because like they have such a set way of doing things. It seems very strict. Like a lot of the people who direct Ghibli films that aren't the main cast of people don't tend to direct more than one. And a lot of that's probably the stress, to be honest. I mean, Greg, yeah, I know someone said that, like, this is the problem I have with this. Like, all these publishers, like, all these people, like, in the, what do you say, journalists, they all suddenly were like, Hosoda made this sting that allegedly could be about Miyazaki. You don't know it's about Miyazaki. You just don't know. Like, what did he wink at you and go, Miyazaki? Like, you don't know who the fuck he's talking about. You just think it's Miyazaki. Like, it might be Miyazaki, but you really don't know, do you, though? Like, I don't like to be like, oh, he's totally talking about Miyazaki, because you really don't know. There's like a lot of directors, and he's worked with a lot of people. It doesn't have to be Miyazaki. It could have been, and like it would be about the difference in philosophy for sure. Like that, Hosoda likes very imperfect characters. He likes characters that are like sort of flawed and sort of troubled. Where like Miyazaki's, especially his female characters, are like very, you know, like idealistic and just like full on, like they're full of Genki. They're really tough all rounders usually. If he made them himself, especially. You know, they're beautiful fighting girls, to quote the term. They are the literal beautiful fighting girls. I mean, HFC World, you should probably watch Grave of the Fireflies, even if, like, after what I say, because it's like such a like important film for the studio. Like, you might as well watch it, because you probably might come out of it with a different mind than I did. I think I became more respectful of it over the years, just because I think it's like a very difficult film to make. So I can appreciate what they did, especially with like, you know, the animation stuff. It's like really like a lot of work. So like, yeah, I think I can respect the context a lot. Maybe we'll talk about it once again in the future, in like a World War II anime video. I've seen Shampoo. I've made a video on Shampoo. Is it Varsmith? Varshif? Yeah, we've made Varshif, I've made 3 videos on Watanabe, and I talk about Shampoo and all his films in it. It's called The Man Behind Bebop, I think, or The Man Behind Cowboy Bebop. There's 3 videos. I think they're a little bit old, a little bit crusty in some ways, but like they do generally give my opinions on the products at that time. So yeah, instead of like regurgitating the video, it's probably best to go watch that. Yeah, during the Kaguya production, Takahata was so particular about the music and the voice acting. He always is. At one point, he was schooling the voice actors. Yeah, like I think Takahata is like a really very particular. I mean, I've heard a lot of like stories that it sounds like he's like the worst to work with, because if you like listen to like, I think it's Takahashi, one of the female animators, she said working on productions with Takahata was really bad because he didn't communicate well. She said that like what would happen is that she'd do her frames and then he'd just throw them back on her desk afterwards, and he wouldn't tell her what was wrong with them. And then she'd redraw them, and then they'd end up back on her desk again, and she'd redraw them, and finally they disappear. They'd be like, oh, Well, couldn't he have said something? Because like you don't know what he wants to fix. He just like threw the frames back. It's like he didn't even communicate. And there are other bits in like you hear about like Kaguya where like he was really difficult to understand, and like Miyazaki had to come in and try and explain what he wanted. Like he'd like come in behind like after Takahata's left, and he'd go back and try and explain to the animators what he thinks Takahata wants, and it sounds like absolute chaos. And like yeah, Takahata's just like yeah, I think he is sometimes intentionally dense. I mean, yeah, when you translate any language, ego, you're gonna lose a lot of the specific things when you translate stuff. That's just you can't really avoid like losing nuance when you translate stuff. Unfortunately, you do the best you can. Like to be honest, the best way that you're gonna get is like learning the language and trying to learn the nuances, which in itself could take a lifetime to learn like all the little specific stuff. But yeah, it's just good. One was called Miyazaki Ambushed. I mean, yeah, well, I mean that's what you get. I mean, if it's like a journalist, it probably was an ambush. Like there's one I know where he was picking up rubbish, and then people were asking him about what do you think about Demon Slayer the movie, and he's like, I don't fucking care. Like oh so what? Like it outsold one of my films that from like 20 years ago. Big whoop, I don't care. I'm just picking up trash today. Fuck off. I don't care. Yeah. Have I ever seen Barefoot Gen? I've made a video on Barefoot Gen, Kira. It's on this channel. It's called Barefoot Gen, the A-Bomb anime. It's one of my more popular videos. I really like Barefoot Gen. I've actually read quite a lot of it as well. I own like 7 volumes of the manga. I've been meaning to read through the 7th. I think I think the manga is actually a lot better, but like it depends what you're looking for. Like there's a lot of visual, stylistic visual clarity that comes from the movie. Both of them, I think both of them are pretty good at what they do. They're a good adaptation, but like ultimately the story is so much more dense in the manga, especially when you want like if you want to see how it was to live in Hiroshima like post-war. Even though like these characters are fictional, the existence they were living in is very true. And like it kind of explains the socio-economic factors post the bomb, not just the effects of the bomb. So seeing how the post-bomb world and the post-war Japan, like how it was to live in that era, is actually to me like one of the most fascinating things about the manga that you cannot get from the movie, which is about specifically that one event. How's it going, my friend? Is that God, Nakayan Yisu? Innocence, innocent, innocent. Nice one to see you, innocent. Um, yeah, I mean, it does sound like comedic. It does sound like a farce, doesn't it, Guys? It does sound like a farce that Miyazaki had to like walk in and explain stuff to try and, you know, help these confused animators that just want to end this project. I'm sure after years of working on it. It does sound like a lot of Kaguya was created by those very talented animators, and that at times it sounds like Takahata was actually just he was not a benefit to the production at all, outside of in a scale and scope. But like that's from Suzuki's words, and you probably should take a lot of what Suzuki says with a pinch of salt, because Suzuki had a very like strained relationship with Takahata, like really strained, like really struggled. Like from day one, like working together, it was like fucking such a nightmare. Like there are just stories like how he didn't want to become the producer of Nausicaa, and he had to like run to his house and scream at him and be like, "You need to be the producer. You need to be the producer. Miyazaki's losing his shit. You need to be the producer. He's crying and drunk in a bar. You need to do this as his friend. You need to become the producer." And he's like, "Fine, okay, I guess I'll become the producer." And then he ends up shit talking the film after he does that. Or like with Grave of the Firefly, where he like ran home apparently and didn't want to finish the film, and Suzuki had to like go to his house and like a scared animal had to like coax him out of the house with like a little clover or something. Like, come on, finish the film. Come on, one panel at a time. We'll do it. We'll finish the film. We can do it. We can do it in the time slot. It'll be tight, but we can do it. Like just these just nightmarish situations. I don't blame Suzuki being like about it, but like I understand the frustrations. Though I think it does paint his like opinion as well. I would watch the manga if the art style didn't give me into. I mean, the manga is quite crusty. Well, I don't know how to put it. The manga's of the 70s. Like Barefoot Gen, the manga looks like it's from the 70s, and it is. And like I think that's fair. Like the visual flair of the movies definitely like are at a higher rate than the the structure of the comics because it's from the 70s. It's a very different style of anime. Like it's more of like it's like a family. I mean, it's like a kids family manga from the 70s. It doesn't quite have like the style and veneer of like Barefoot and Cub, like Barefoot Cub. No, sorry. Wolf and Cub or like the finesse of an Ashton no Joe. It doesn't quite have that energy to it. It's more like utilitarian. Yeah, I mean Miyazaki rarely gets drunk, but when he does, it sounds like it really hits him. He makes like very he makes even more absurd stuff. He says even more like crazy stuff when he's drunk. Does the art style change over time? I mean, I think it's guaranteed that the art style in some way will change over time because the character of Gen also grows up. So I do think that it becomes like you probably notice it kind of subtly, but yeah, things probably will change between like position to position because it ran for a while. Like there's I think a good 12 or 30 how many volumes? I think there's like 10 volumes. There's 10 volumes, I'm pretty sure of it. So like it ran for a long time. So you probably are going to see some change in the style because that's just what happens naturally. Like you don't plan that stuff out, you just evolve. Mr. Stephen whipping out the guns. Yeah. I don't know, with my wrist I can't really do anything like that. I can't do anything too extreme exercise wise on this wrist. But I mean it's very hot. So yeah, we're wearing the tank top today. I had my jacket on for a little bit, but it was too hot. Where are we? Well, Innocent. 2 years after tinnitus, I'm keen to finally make my own comics. Oh, that's really good. South Africa, but the Western influence. That's really cool. I hope it goes well for you because I'm dealing with I actually don't. I went to see the doctors about this, and they electrocuted my wrist, and it really fucking hurt. They'd like. I wasn't expecting it. I thought they were going to do all these other processes, but I went to see the doctor and they put these two metal prongs on here and they just started sapping and I was like, oh, for like 10 minutes. It just kept sapping me and kept sapping me. God, it was a lot. And they sapped my elbow. It's the whole thing. They were just messing around with it. And then at the end they were like, well, it seems fine to me, lol. So like, I have no idea what it is. I think I've got carpal tunnel or maybe repetitive strain injury. One of the two. I've had it for about a year now and I've been dealing as best as I can with it. It's gotten a little better since then, but you know, you do what you can. It's not ideal. Like I can't. There's a lot of things I struggle with, like twisting motions, drawing for too long, lifting heavy objects. I don't know. I can get fatigued quite easily. Sometimes it becomes dull or numb. But I'm doing the best with it. Hopefully the doctors can eventually help me, but we'll see. But yeah, I think it's encouraging. Like I hope it goes well for you, and if I were you, I'd get like a brace or something like me. But I think tinnitus is different. I think that affects different parts of the. Yeah, just do it. Do it responsibly. Take it nice and slow, and don't overdo it because it can leave some damage. But I think you already know that. Top 10 most jacked YouTubers. I'm not really that jacked. Well, like I don't know. I guess I'm like lean. I'm a lean AniTuber. I'm the leanest with the fattest ass. That's me. I'm the AniTuber with the fattest ass and the leanest bod. That's what they should call me. David, man, nice. Number 10, me. You might be more jacked than me. I'm not really that jacked. Like I said, lean. I'm a lean guy. I do read academic papers from time to time on manga and anime, Abdi, but like it depends on the context. Like if I can, usually when I go into a production, I look for some if I can. If I don't have, I like to look from different angles. So like, you know, we look for like the production side. I'll look at the academic side. Sometimes it's hard to find papers on stuff though. I was lucky to find quite a couple papers on Elfen Lied, and they were very helpful to like kind of like talk about it and sort of like positing my thoughts. Cat, you're still here. You're just asleep, are you? Wait a minute. Maybe I should put that there next to your belly. I think it'll be funnier. I can't lift dumbbells right now because my wrist. Maybe only my left. I could have the buffer's left arm in AniTube, I guess. Where can I read academic papers on manga and anime? Well, if you know the right places, people might post them somewhere, I guess, if you can find the right sort of Discord server or something. But like you can find them on like through Google Scholar or on like JSTOR and these other places. Maybe just other websites. You could just look around and search for them. Sometimes getting past the academic wall or like the that can be quite difficult. But like if you're lucky, you might find a paper or a book on some of them. Yeah, I mean you can look around. Do I read books besides manga? Yeah, sometimes. Usually they're for the projects though, but it depends. Like I don't do a lot of recreational reading because I struggle to focus on specific stuff. But I used to read a fair bit. I need to probably get back into like recreational reading again. At least with like comic books or something. I still got a bunch of comic books I haven't read in my house. It's embarrassing. Oh yeah, NCT is that what they call it? The electric therapy or whatever. I don't know. It's fucking stang, and like I can feel it. Like yesterday, I had like sharp pains in my elbows. Like I haven't had that before, and I think that's strictly from the electrocution. It was a lot for them to tell me nothing was wrong, or that they couldn't see anything, and they didn't do any other processes. So it was a bit of a tiring day to go a long way just to get told, "Lol, seems good to me." But like they said, like that doesn't mean that there's nothing wrong with it. It's just that like the nerves are fine at least, which I guess is good to know that your nerves are working. Certainly they were, because I was sweating. Jesus Christ, that electrocution was a lot. Like especially on top of my wrist. Like afterwards, my wrist was like burning. I was like, I can barely use my wrist now. Fucking hell. Yeah, I need to do an ultrasound on my hand definitely. Yeah, I need to figure out where I am because I have a feeling it's carpal tunnel, but it could I guess it could be repetitive strain. I don't know. Whatever. I want to find the process next because a lot of the time they recommend like the injections, like a steroid injections, and I'll take a steroid injection tomorrow if they give it to me. If it'll do something to like make my wrist better, I'll do it because like I have a lot of animation planned, and right now, pragmatically, I can't really do a lot of good animation stuff. I can do very little bits and pieces. Like I do like 3 frames, maybe 2 frames per person because I just can't do the repetitive motions. A lot of, it just really it's too much. So like to get down to actually doing some like proper frame animation, I just can't do it now. I need something. Yeah, there's a browser. Yeah, if you can find a browser extension called like Unpaid Wall, if you can find it, I think I've got one like that. But do I have that one? I might already have that one. I've got something like that, but like it sometimes doesn't work. Like if you're lucky, it'll work though. I got something similar to that though. Yeah. Yeah, the nerve conduction thing, test thing. Worth it at least because now you know there's nothing wrong. Yeah, at least I know there's nothing wrong with my nerves, which is encouraging. I mean, I didn't ever think there was anything too wrong with them because the numbness always came after like doing stuff, opposed to just being numb in general. I mean, yes, steroids will help. Yes, steroids will only help temporarily, but I'll take temporarily over nothing. That's the bluntness of it. Like I will take temporarily being able to animate consistently or use my wrist regularly over not being able to do it, and hopefully like it will heal further while that process happens. But I'll take temp over what I'm going through right now. It would be great just to be able to take my brace off like for some of the day or like at night even and not have to wear it 24/7. I'll take anything. And like I've heard from family members as well that who've done similar processes that it can actually like it can help in general afterwards and you can come back I guess stronger I guess or better or like it can just yeah it can really do the world of good. And then like maybe by the time it's war enough you've healed a fair bit. I mean I might be screwed, it's true, but like Son heard I can only do make the best of the situation I'm in. But like I'll have to ask the doctors to tell me what it really is. I mean, there's something wrong with my nerves, so it's the muscles. So like I'll do what I can. I mean, here they recommend if it's really bad, they'll give you surgery. Though it would take some time to ever get the surgery like booked. But if I've done a couple of injections and they're still pretty fucked and it's not healing, they will probably recommend me surgery. And if I need to, I'll take it. I mean, I wouldn't like to do it, but if I have to, I'll do the surgery. I mean, I'm still young, so like a lot of the doctors I talk to always give me this talk. They're like, you're too young to have carpal tunnel. I swear. Why would you, a young man in your shape, have carpal tunnel?" And it's like it's my job. My job. It's kind of it's part of the field. It happens to a lot of people. If they work, then they suggest chronic tendon or nerve inflammation. I'm not sure what. We'll see. We'll see what they say. Yeah, I'm sure we've all had the too young talk to the doctors. They made it very difficult for me because the first doctor I talked to was really great, and he said to me it sounded like carpal tunnel. The second doctor didn't believe it was carpal tunnel and said that my notes said it didn't say carpal tunnel. So he just didn't read it properly. And then he asked me what my BMI was. Like, that would make a difference. You just want to know if I was like a huge, like, obese person or something. I don't know. I don't know what he wanted out of that. It has nothing to do with my wrist. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I mean, I think anyone can get carpal tunnel, but like, you got to just be responsible. No, do proper posture. If I were you, I'd buy a vertical mouse or something. Maybe buy an ergonomic keyboard or something like that. Take breaks, do stretches. Maybe learn a couple stretches to do that will, just stuff like that. Just know when you're at your limits. I mean, I push myself beyond them, and that's why I'm in this situation. But yeah, I'll have to see what they say. I mean, I don't think they're going to tell me it's nerve inflammation, because I don't know. I think that doctor would have mentioned it. Maybe, I don't know. He was looking at all my nerves and electronic, shocking the shit out of them. So I hope he would have really told me if there was something wrong with them. But we'll see. I guess we'll see what's happening. And yeah, I would love to interview an animator if they spoke English, because my Japanese is basically shit and non-existent. So like, I don't think I could do it on my own. If I had a translator with me, sure, that would be cool. But yeah, I think I would like to have a very like conversational talk with an animator. Like, I'd like to be able to talk with them like at a good, like, comfortable level of sort of back and forthness. I'd like to be quite casual with them and like have a nice chat. So like, I would like to talk to someone who, yeah, I could do that with. And sometimes, like, unless you've got a really good translator or you're very good on your feet, that might be quite hard. But yeah, I mean, if I could get someone to interview in for a video, I'd absolutely do it. But like, yeah, easier said than done sometimes. But yeah, if I could get someone I could talk to, like, in a really, like, just in like a really casually fun way. I don't want it to be like very mechanical. I feel like a lot of interviews can be quite mechanical, where it's just like, you did this thing once, what do you think of this, and how do you think it will go in the future? And then they give their like scripted answer. And then you go, oh, that is very interesting. Now, you started your career at this studio, but now you work at this... Like, I don't want to do that. I'd like it to be a more free-form conversation. Hayden, yeah, we're doing pretty well today. We're doing all right. It's been a bit of a chill day. The video's coming along. This Nausicaa video, it's coming along. I'm doing my best. I think in the next couple of days, the big chunk of it will be done, and then hopefully we can get onto the guest section and then the finale bit. I need to still write a bit of the finale, but I can't do it until I know everything that's going to be said beforehand. But yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. I'm doing the best I can. Yeah, it's good to know some stretches. I mean, I do some stretches here and there. Like, I should probably start doing more again, but some doctors tell me, like, yeah, if you do too many stretches when your wrist is like this, you're actually going to do more harm than otherwise. But like, I know a couple, and stuff like they'll tell you to do stuff like this, like kind of like a pray stretch. And one the NHS gave me is, I don't know if you'll be able to see it on the camera here, but they tell me to like put my hand down on something and like rest my elbow on a thing, and then like to like pull against it's like to rise. It's basically like rising your hand up and then pushing against it. I think that's supposed to like build up your resistance. So you're like you have it like you rest on your elbow and then you resist against your rising hand. Which is pretty cool. That one really hurt at first, but it actually after a while it stopped hurting. So I thought it was like, oh, it's probably doing its job then. Probably doing that. I should do that more often. I think it's supposed to build up some strength resistance. But yeah, they tell me this one a lot. I do something like this in the shower sometimes. Like, I'll extend this area here. Maybe I'll do something like that. There's a couple of stretches I tend to do, just to just make sure it's like limber. Yeah, I'm doing the best I can, Hayden. Um, Tips for beginners when it comes to drawing: I would draw from life. It's not very pleasant at first, but drawing from life is one of the best ways to improve quickly as an artist. Is to like draw something that's not a JPEG, but actually in front of you. Because I don't know, I feel like your brain kind of like learns to understand how 3D space works better when you can see it in front of you and you can draw things from different angles. Um, Learning to draw faster too, like being more confident. I think those are two factors that can help, and you can do both of them kind of together. Like if you go outside and draw from life that's like outside, like people moving around, you have to be very quick. But like still life is also a good place to start, like drawing like apples and oranges and random stuff in your house, like figures. Maybe you want to draw some figurines and other stuff like you've got lying around. I think those are good ways to learn stuff. Like I think you do learn quite quickly by doing that. Um, that's what I'd say. Maybe you could find like a book as well. Like maybe you can find like a book on some pointers for like basic stuff. Depends what you want to learn really. But like I think practice makes perfect really. Just keeping to like a schedule, doing a little bit here and there. But yeah, drawing for life has always helped me quite a lot. I mean, it's not really realistic, but like life drawing is really good. Like actually, like drawing like naked models is really not only is it fun, but it's actually really practical. They're like not really realistic nowadays. It's pretty expensive to find classes, but if you can find there's like generators online where like they'll do like well it's not ideal. Like it's better than nothing. Having like people like lightly clothed do poses, and then there'll be programs that like set timers and you can draw. So that's a good alternative for like not having a real like life drawing class in front of you. But just drawing anything can be good. That's from real life. I think that's a very good way to learn quickly. The most important part is to have a proper arm bar support because you might be putting too much strain on your wrist. Yeah, you wanna put it on the elbow, right? I'm not really sure what you mean by like arm bar support though, but I do have something here that I put my elbow on. There's a lot of animators who speak English. Recently, I did. What is that? RO3B. There's a lot of animators who speak. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of them that do. I even know a couple, to be honest. There's a couple younger animators I know who like are freelance in the industry. If if I ended up making a video about a project they'd worked on, I'd absolutely invite them onto the channel to talk about it if they wanted to. It's completely up to them if they want to talk about it, because some of it's like inside baseball, right? Sometimes you might not want to say too much, but yeah, I would love to talk to a lot of just any animator really. I mean, as long as we're on that same level, because it'll be a long time before my Japanese is good enough to talk to like native speakers. It'll be a long time, but maybe one day. Maybe I'll get there, or maybe I'll just meet someone who's good enough. They're willing to like be my translator. But like, I think there's something about speaking the same language to someone that you can build a rapport. I think it's easier to do it that way, but I guess it wouldn't be impossible the other way. I've just never really tried. I need to be a better interviewer, really. I don't. I think I'm barely good at speaking to regular people, so like I need all the help I can get. So But yeah, I've seen I think I know Yanyan. I think I follow Yanyan. I think they're pretty cool. Yeah, you want it on the elbow. Like you to be fair, we've got like what one of the doctors told me. I wonder if I've got it here. I don't have it here. But those things you usually put on your wrist, like mouse pads with the wrist support. He told me to move it down to the forearm, like down here, because he said it's better to have like the support like lower down here, because then you can keep the wrist in place, and the support is towards the elbow or like the forearm. Like that's the place you want the squishy bit. Like you don't want it under your wrist because you'll end up contracting it and make it worse. I mean, Lafando, I would like to say like learning Japanese is an optimistic report, but I know a little bit. But like I should really get into it more. One of my friends is actually doing Japanese classes right now, so I'm hoping to like kind of maybe do something with them. Like maybe when he's kind of, I think I'm a little bit further along than him in some ways, but when he gets a little bit further, I'd like to like sit down with him and Maybe just play some like Japanese games raw for like an hour or two, like on a week, like do a stream or something with him, or like just doing it together. Like we're both vaccinated, so like maybe going to his house and just like sitting down and playing some Japanese games with like some. I think it'd be easier with two people, like to have some dictionaries in hand, and just like try our best to do like to figure out what the fuck's going on and learn some words. We'll have some fun, like doing something like that. Yeah, Hayden, for me, drawing for life was one of the things that made me improve the fastest when I dedicate myself to that. And Hazel is awesome, definitely. Hazel, Hazel appreciation in chat. How's it going, Salut? Salut? In my native language, it's called Aerogodynamic Armstein. You can learn any, yeah, I mean, you can learn any language, it's true. You just got to put the time into it. One of the issues for me for learning Japanese is like what I used to do is I had a couple ways of doing it, but like because of my wrist, it became really hard to do that because there was a period where I literally couldn't write, and I used to write stuff down like notes and kanji and stuff and other bits and pieces, and there was a period where I just couldn't write anymore, so I couldn't do that faction of this thing anymore. There's a game I bought that it's kind of basic, but like it was sort of like you walk around a house and you like look at items and like you try and make the visual connections, and I was doing pretty alright with that, but like again my wrist became too bad and I couldn't play that anymore because yeah, it was too much like moving the mouse all over the place. I like to like look at stuff. I guess flashcards would probably be the better alternative or something like that, or like quizzes, but like I'm not great at those, like they don't really work too well for me, but like sitting down and listening to Japanese like native like stuff and trying to figure out words, that's usually been the easiest way for me to learn. Like when I want to learn, I need to visualize the words. When I can like visualize the words, or like put a connection to them, I usually like hold on to them much better. Like I know Keitai. I think it's Keitai. Keitai is like I'm pretty sure that's telephone, right? Or like mobile phone. And I picked that one up through like yeah, just visual recognitions. I've when I think about it, I'm thinking about like the Digimorphers in Digimon, and like there's the kid called Tai, at least in the English dub. So I'm thinking about him having like Digimorpher being a mobile phone. So like ridiculous connections like that, or Sebuten. Is it Sebuten? No, he goes for a drive. What was it? I don't know. Sebuten, I think, is cactus. Is it Sebuten? Sebuten? Saboten? There's lots of little words that I like. I probably need to do. I'm probably rusty to be honest, but I pick up little words and kamisori, which I think is shaving. Just like Leah, I pick up little words and I make little visual recognizations in my head to like remember them. Shinsha, I think it's Shinsha. Shinsha's photo, I think it is Shinsha. Yeah, just things like that. I mean, sell out if you want to make art. It's the best thing to do is just start, right? What would you ask first if you got an interview with Arno? That would be very overwhelming. I don't even think I would take the interview because I don't think I'm a good enough interviewer to like waste Arno's time because he can be like really blunt in his like interview questions, and I think I would get really uncomfortable just because I wouldn't know how to respond. But like I'd have to do my research first. Like the thing, if I was going to ask Arno questions, I don't want them to be generic ones. It would be like me do all my research first, and then have like if I have any specific questions left for research where I need like better answers or need to figure out like what when you did this project in 1984 or 1986, what were you thinking of, or like what did you say this? Is this what did you mean by this? Like I'd be asking stuff like that, like really particular things, and that's what I'd like to do if I was going to sit down with him. Yeah, ergonomic Arnstein. I guess it's like a protector for the elbow, I guess. I should have. I mean, I've got like something similar, but I just have to move it down. But they're pretty good. I mean, I've got my wrist brace and a vertical mouse has been a godsend to me. The vertical mouses, especially the newer one I bought, like really take the pressure off, because you'll hold them like this, so it's pretty chill. This one here, a little bit cheaper, a little bit too light, but it does the job as well. But like I can't use it while using this. Apparently, I don't know. Apparently my wireless mouse, I guess this stuff interferes with it, like this cable. The cable to the camera. I don't know. It plays up when I put that in. So I used a wired one when I'm recording like this. Don't know what that is, but what can you do? But yeah, the vertical mouse has been a godsend for me, definitely. It's made things a lot easier, and the wrist brace as well. What is that? Pilfer Pubs character design? That's quite an interesting name. How's it going? Why is YouTube here? Hello, YouTube. I'm on your platform, screaming. How's it going? I guess it's not official YouTube. Just a man called YouTube. Yeah, Salo, right? Sorry, Salo, right? I don't know. I might be saying it wrong. If I am, I apologize. Salo. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to be satisfied with it. I think it's just taking it one day. It's about the progress at first. Like, it might not be what's in your head, but if you haven't done it for a while, like, yeah, it will feel like quite behind. It does take some time to get the progress, but like, it is gratifying when the progress happens, and you just got to keep to it. And just like, you know, it's the incremental stuff. It's the incremental stuff you really got to like be like, yeah, that's good. That's good. Come on. I mean, YouTube, the service can be pretty bad. I don't imagine that's the official one, though. Don't know what they've been in my chat. Hello, cat. Do you want to leave? You've been awfully quiet. All right, bye-bye, cat. If you want to go. Go on. Go on. You leaving? Bye-bye. I'm not going with you. Oh, I ran out of water. I might need to get more water in a bit. Just got it all over my face. Right. That's why we're low on water. If we go, I don't know how, what time is it now? You know, it's getting pretty late actually. So, what I might do, I might get some more water, put my dinner in the oven, and then go until it's done, which will probably be like 20-25 minutes. Because then we would have done a good old time. Like, we'll get out at like 20 to 10 or whatever. Yeah, vertical masters are great. I do like them a lot. Yeah, cat is gone, I'm afraid, everyone. The general sensation that's not really appreciated by people. I can't really live on this? What do you mean? I'm getting confused. The general sensation that it's not really appreciated by people. Oh, what, art? Sorry, I'm going to be confused what you mean by that. But art's not appreciated by people? I mean, some people do, some people don't. What can you do? I mean, some people do live off it, but you may have to make some sacrifices. It's not easy. I mean, it's not easy to live off anything, really. How's it going, Abdul? Doing alright. We're doing good today. Do I always eat this late? Yes. I mean, you know, I can't eat while I'm streaming. I don't know. I think that would be rude. I'd probably eat too quick as well as I was on the stream. But no, unless I'm looking at something, I would rather not eat on stream. Because I do it poorly. But yeah, like, generally I eat dinner late because that's the kind of guy I am. I usually forget to eat, and then I'm like, oh shit, I need to make something. Usually I get distracted by work. Abdi, I mean, it's a complicated history about the World War II period. There are certainly definitely shows that are set in that era. There's like a lot of different things you can bring up. Although, obviously, there are reasons why that doesn't happen, and it usually has to do with conservative think tanks and producers and what the people are willing to show, and for obvious reasons. It gets very messy. It deserves itself its own topic, not a footnote, quite frankly. Because it's not just about the period of World War II, it's also about how that period is presented. Do I post my art anywhere? I post it on Twitter. I also have a secondary, don't know if I've kept it up to date, I hope I have. I have a secondary art account, which is no one really follows because I don't advertise it very well. But I have a secondary art account where I just retweet all the art stuff I do on my main account, so it's easier to follow through. I think it's called Stephen 2, and if you go through any of my art pieces, you'll find it in the retweets. But yeah, you'll find most of my art stuff on Twitter, definitely. Just my regular Twitter as well. I used to, alright, Cello, I used to have one. Instagram fucked me, alright? This is the reason I don't like to use Instagram, right? Alright, one, I had a really nice account, I really like using it, and then it got spam filled. Now I have thousands of things I'm following that I don't want to follow, and they wouldn't do anything about it. So it's just ruined my scrolling experience. Second, it's really awkward to get your work from in the screen onto an Instagram thing. You have to use a weird browser extension. You can't just upload onto Instagram easily. You have to do it from your phone. That's bullshit. Absolute bullshit. And the phone I currently have is a little bit crusty, and the camera on it is shit. So I don't want to take a photo of my screen or my piece of paper or whatever. It'll look bad. It will just look bad. And also the limits of the aspect ratios, don't like that either. So that's all the things I don't like about Instagram. If I had a nicer phone with a better camera, I might start using it again. Maybe I'd make a new account or whatever, or maybe I'd try and fix the old one. But it's too much effort. Too much effort for such an annoying platform. So yeah, that's why I don't use Instagram anymore. What was the extension? Paywall? I think it's called Unpaywall. Though I also have one here, which might be a different one. But I don't know how. Let me look at it. What's it called? The one I've got. Yeah, I have Unpaywall. Unpaywall extension. It's called. I'll post it in the chat for you. Unpaywall extension. There you go. That's the one. Sphinx. Howdy. How's it going? We're probably not staying too long. I'm going to put some dinner in the oven. It's getting late. Get some more water, and I'll stay for another little bit. That's what I reckon is going to happen. Yeah, I'll probably go do that now. Yeah, if you oh wait, what would be the best way? All right, 1 second, everyone. I'm gonna post this. Hopefully, it will let me do this, but just in case anyone's curious, I should probably do this more on streams. If you want to see more recent, more up to date updates, and I try to update here and there. I'm not great at keeping Twitter active, but if I post things that I find interesting on Twitter, and sometimes I'll definitely post a lot of art on there. So usually it's updates on videos, things I find interesting about animation history, and sometimes selfies, or I guess just photos in general. You'll get to see my new shirt on there, actually. Though that was a couple weeks ago now. Yeah, I should plug myself, yeah, sure. Alright, 1 second, everyone. I'm gonna go do those couple of tasks, and then we'll be getting the last 20 minutes or so of the stream. So let me adjust some things on here. So I'll turn off my mic. Okay, sorry about that for a second. I forgot that it was still playing on my speakers because I haven't got my headphones in. Right, can everyone hear me? Are we still good? Is the audio fine? A little dark, isn't it? Let me adjust some things here. Oh dear. Oopsie. That one's very strong. There we go. Alright, that should be alright for now. We don't have too much left of the stream now. We're in the final 20-ish minutes or so. Probably 15 actually, 15 to 20 minutes. We're in the final fifth, so it is. Alright, you guys need to remind me or I won't leave. I need to leave at, like, I guess 10 to. I need to leave at 10 to. Yeah, about 10 to, I'd say. Maybe a little bit afterwards. That's my limit right now. But yeah, I just put my Twitter in the chat. So if anyone wants to follow me, if you want to see art, random pictures, updates, etc., etc., that's where you're gonna get them. What brand of vertical mouse is yours? I've got 2 of them, and I recommend the second one more than the first. I'd have to have a look up. I have to look it up. I don't know if it's a specific brand or not. I know some people like to get like the Logitech ones, but they're very expensive, so I did not. I'll look at my orders for a second. It is an ergonomic mouse wireless. What's that? Senda rechargeable vertical mouse for multi-purpose. I don't know what the brand is for that, but like I generally enjoy this one. I'm trying to figure out if I can find what the brand is supposed to be. I think the brand is Senda. I haven't had it for too long though, so like I can only talk about it from how I've used it. But I like that it has a rest for my thumb. Like there's an area where I put my thumb on. Sorry, well, it's 9:40 here in the BS British summertime. British summertime is 9:37 right now. HFC World. I'm glad someone saw the Sonic thread, because if Mother's Basement, fucking Jeff Fu, saw my thread, he never said a word. I know he was sent to him. I know someone who sent to him, a fan of his sent to me. Because I wasn't even like necessarily disrespectful. Like I was just like, man, come on. Because like he was like going around. I mean, maybe he was shit posting, but he was kind of going to Twitter being like, my video was flawless. I'm like, motherfucker, you don't even know what you're talking about. Like you literally don't know the room. Like everything you said about Sonic is wrong. The stuff you said about him are just stereotypes. Secondly, you don't understand this, and that. Also, your Vegeta parallel just doesn't work, because in the context of the comics and the manga at that time, Vegeta only became a big deal after 1995 in popularity. So you're doing retrofitting. You're retrofitting these ideas that you have into the history of Sonic because you think they sound good. And that's a bad way of doing history. That's just revisionism. I mean, I don't really follow much of Mother's Basement, but like a friend of mine sent me the video, and it got me annoyed when I was watching it, and I decided to stop watching it. But then I kept thinking about it, and I had to finish the video and then make a long post about it because I couldn't stop thinking about it and being annoyed. So I had to get it out of my system. So that's what I did. I'm a little bit annoyed he didn't say anything about it, because I feel like I was in good faith for the most part. Like I would have appreciated some kind of response, or like at least acknowledgement that he was reading it. But I guess you can't expect anything on the internet. At the time, maybe I just wasn't big enough. I'm not big enough to deal with the likes of Jeff Fu. He's too out of my league. You know, saying it's worse than historical revisionism. It's Sonic revisionism. That's my area. You don't do any historical Sonic revisionism on my watch. You're gonna get it. Okay. Yeah, this has been a good one. It's been a nice chill event. Just chatting up. No, sorry, were we talking about something else beforehand? I've kind of lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, the audio's still good, right, everyone? Yeah, I mean Sonic should be Sonic's a nice lad. Actually, speaking of Sonic, I yesterday I watched the Sonic Colors short they made because they've done the remasters recently. I've heard the Switch port so far of the remaster sounds like it needs a lot of patches. Sounds like it's still buggy, though it seems like some of the other versions are just fine. I may buy the Ultimate Colors version for PS4 for my nephew. I think he'd really like it. So yeah, I may buy him a physical copy of that at some point. Maybe we'll see. We'll see. Like whenever something comes up, I might buy him a copy. I think he'd like it, though. Someone else might buy it first, so I'll have to chat with his parents. But he liked his Sonic for a time, though. He's like very into Spider-Man, but like I think it would be good for him to play some more Sonic games. That one might be a bit easier for him to play too than some of the other ones he has. But yeah, I'm hoping like the PS4 version is a little bit more stable or gets patched a bit more. But yeah, the animation that they did on the Sonic channel was really fun. I really liked it, and having is it Roger Craig? Is it Roger Craig who voices Sonic right now? Who voices Sonic right now? Is it Roger? The voice actor of Chris Redfield, isn't it? But yeah, I know he was about to go, and then he's not. But like, he did such a good job in that short. Like, he was really like punchy. Like, I really like his characterization. I think they did a good job with it. It's really fun. So what I'm saying is, we can't make Tommy Turtle out to be the hero he truly was. Who's Tommy Turtle? I have no idea. Ever since the suck brought that, what's the suck? I don't know. Oh, Zuckerberg bought Instagram. Okay. Yeah, I mean that may be an issue. Like whatever happened to me was just annoying. Like I generally enjoyed using Instagram until like I was full of like bot followers that I can't get rid of. So like it just became not good. Just it just wasn't fun to scroll. Like I used to scroll and see all my Illustrator friends and people I knew in real life and look at their post and be like, oh, that's cute, that's nice, and see what all my friends were drawing. Really wholesome. And then it was just destroyed. I mean, yeah, Facebook killing stuff. No surprise there, right? Okay. I think I've drank too much water because I'm starting to fill up my stomach a bit. Oh god. That's a thing too. My stomach can be quite sensitive, but I've drank a lot of water, so I guess it's on me. I mean, I drank more than a liter, I guess. So Facebook may be run by lizard people. That's true. It may be allegedly. Tommy Turtle was the from the comics. He was roboticized by Robotnik into Adam. Oh, fair. Yeah, I'm not as familiar with all the comics, though. I have read a little bit of them. Some of the early ones I read, but I don't know. I'd be interested in getting into Sonic comics, but it's a wild world out there. It's a very wild one. But I'm kind of into it. Even like the Tyson Hess ones, like his Mega Drive ones. I think that would be a great comic selection to get for my nephew if I could get if it was still in paperback. I don't think it is. Hmm. Yeah. But yeah, the animation short was pretty good. I don't know if it was as good as some of the other ones that were done before by like Tyson Hess's team, but I thought it was like a fun little 10-minute short from the Sonic channel, the YouTube channel. It's always nice to see what they're doing when they're doing animation and such. Though I would love to see another like Tyson Hess one, like a full animation kind of deal. The sport one, the one with the driving, that was pretty fun, and the space one, yeah, I like those two. Maybe they're working on something now and I don't even know it. I mean, the thing is, Silo, like the idea of a cursed fandom, I think, is just like already an oxymoron because it's defined by how you perceive it in a specific place. So, for example, Sonic is perceived through an internet lens of people who don't like Sonic, who you then use to point towards people to be like, see, this is what people who like Sonic are like. And I don't really like that positioning because I think that Sonic is a very popular franchise, a huge variety of people, and they're one of the most dedicated fan bases. I've never seen people who go as hard as Sonic fans on a lot of this stuff. Their fan game community is amazing. The things they do to rework the old games is like inspiring. The way how particular they are about archiving their history as well. It is very, and also seeing how people who were like huge Sonic fans went from Sonic fan games into like making real games or adjusting their fan games into real games. It's really encouraging to see seeing that happen, especially with people who like worked on like the like the Sonic CD port or like the people who made Sonic Mania who were fan game creators. Like it's an insanely like devoted fan base, and of course that comes in all different shades, which it just comes with the territory, I'm afraid. Like if you're on the internet, you're gonna have weird stuff. It just is, and I don't really mind that. I mean, I find it fascinating more than anything because I don't really mind if, the furries have Sonic or whatever. I mean, of course they do. Generally, the bigger a fan base is, the more cursed it is. So I would argue then by like the metric of cursedness, probably Star Wars is the most cursed fan base because it's the biggest franchise. Well, yeah, but saying Christian was not birthed by Sonic. Christian already existed beforehand, and Christian has other interests. And the Christian is like its own compromised creature story. It's probably too depressing to get into, and it's also a little bit creepy to spend so long talking about one strange individual. God, I don't know. Is that Kwane? Kwane? Innocent, anyway. I'll keep it to Innocent. Innocent, Nicolas Cage is a fascinating character. I hope your podcast goes well and you enjoy your research period. It doesn't matter if Star Wars is normie, it's the biggest franchise that has the most toxic population. This idea of something being normie or not doesn't really make that difference of a fan base. Like, we're talking about fan bases, right? So the bigger a fan base, the more cursed it is by just the nature of the size. I mean, I don't know. I think it's irrelevant to describe cursed fan bases because all fan bases can be cursed in the right aspects, and then all fan bases can be very nice depending on where you come into it. Like, you may have met all your friends because of one specific thing that you once upon a time read or whatever, like in a certain period, and they may be your friends to now. And then obviously you have a very good opinion of that, and then you may be in a different situation where you knew a kid in school who was into Sonic, he was a fucking weirdo, and you hated him, and then you just painted all Sonic fans like that. Like, it happens. Like, I knew a weird Sonic fan when I was in school, maybe a couple of them. And I always be like, okay. But I was also a Sonic fan, so it's like looking at them was like shady eyes. But yeah, just how it be. Yes, time is moving on. We're probably not going to be here for too much longer. We've got 2 minutes until the 10 to, but maybe the cat will come in, and that will be our final. You coming in, cat? Where is she? Kitty cat. Kitty cat. Kitty cat. Kitty cat. Kitty cat. She's at the door, but she doesn't come in. Kitty cat. You coming in? Do I have to drag her in? Where is she? She is out there, sitting on the edge of the stairs, kind of just meowing. So she either wants me to go downstairs with her, or she's going to slowly come into the room now. Oh, she's coming into the room now. There you go. That was my prophecy. I'm a prophet. There we go. Cat's back. Uh, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's I love like there are probably going to be people who stop playing Sonic games because they didn't like a couple of them, and that's fair. Like the games kind of have a like they go up and down in quality. Though I believe that the idea of Sonic it goes beyond just whatever Sega's putting out now, and I think that that's because when the fans didn't get what they wanted, they started making it. So that's why there's such a huge collection of like really interesting fan games. There's comics. There's fan. I guess there's technically fan comics. I mean, if you count something like Tails Gets Trolled, which in itself is very fascinating, or like yeah, tons of fan games like Robo Crash 2. Sonic Robo Crash 2 has been in development for 20 years. Insane. And also like the comic books, which generally are very favored on, and even there's like the new runs of the comics. There's always something going on there. Like Sonic is like a multimedia franchise. There's also the Sonic Boom cartoon. Like I put it beyond like just simply being a game mascot. He's very much everything. Like the music in Sonic is always fantastic. Even if you don't like the games, I think the music in itself is a really like Unleashed has its moments, but it also has some terrible things. But the music in Unleashed is like S tier. I mean Sonic CD's music, Mania's music, just beautiful soundtracks. Beautiful soundtracks. Yeah, yeah, it's going to be a variety though. I mean, yeah, I think that it would be it's kind of a weird approach, and it's a very like internet approach to be like, oh, I shouldn't enjoy this thing because there are some weirdos online that enjoy it, and I don't like those people. They're strange. Like, I think that's a very only on the internet could you possibly have such an opinion. If you said that in 1980, I guess unless the idea was like that people who like that were dweebs, but specifically like no people that like this thing, like I don't know, picking out a random thing. I mean, you might have been already outcast if you're talking about something that's like part of like a geek culture concept. Like if you're talking about like a Star Trek or Star Wars already. So like you're already an outcast for liking it. So it doesn't really make a difference if the fans are weird. People that like Back to the Future, they're weirdos. It's just like, yeah, but who fucking cares? Like, watch Back to the Future. Why do you give a shit about random people on the internet you'll never meet? Like, it's a very strange way of looking at the world, quite frankly, sometimes. I think sometimes you gotta have a little distance from it. Yeah, Sonic Adventure 2 had a great soundtrack. Yeah, Guilt by Association is kind of cringe. Of course, that really does depend though. I will say, like, just saying, like, if you know someone who hangs out with a lot of Nazis, probably doesn't bode well for them. Probably doesn't bode well for their opinions on things. By hanging out with them because But I think that's different than like liking media. I think there's a real difference there. But when it comes to media, it seems quite silly. Okay. Yeah. I think we've actually hit the time period. We are 4 minutes beyond the time period I set. So, all right, I think it's time to wrap everything up. Kitty cat, thank you for joining us for the end of the stream. Is she on camera still? Only a little bit. Wait a minute. should I try and adjust the camera so you can see her a little bit more? I'll see if I can get her in shot a little bit more. There we go. She's a little bit more in shot now. There we go. Good cat. Anyway, this will probably need to be the end, because I need to get the food out of the oven. So yeah, thank you for joining me, and we'll probably see you again Sunday. Now, I'll do my little, little housekeeping real quick. So, Twitter, scroll up, you'll find Twitter. I think it's at the Stephen on Twitter. There's a link to the Patreon there, which is where we're talking about the Nausicaa video. So the first part of the Nausicaa video is done. The next couple of days, the next part of the Nausicaa video will be also done. So that's probably going to be 28 minutes of content before the final video comes out in the coming weeks. Who knows how long? It depends on technicalities. But like the majority of the video, the meat of the video, will be sorted soon enough. And what else are we going to say? Yeah, so we usually stream every Sunday around 6-ish for me. That's British summertime. If I stream any other time a week, it's usually if I'm drawing something, though I've done most of my drawing for the project and my wrist is still a bit weak, so I'm probably not going to do too much casual drawing recently, but you never know. But yeah, Sundays and Wednesdays are usually when I feel like streaming, but mostly Sunday is 100%. If I got something else to do though, because of YouTube's new things, like whenever a new video is coming out, I might do a little pre-stream. I sometimes do that. Nowadays, you can actually link it so that your pre-stream goes straight into the normal like video. You can just jump from one to the other, and people will like follow through. I'd like to try that out for something, so we might give that a go. But yeah, thank you for joining me, and we will go soon. And yeah, thank you, Hazel. Appreciate you joining, and yeah, I'm gonna say this is the end. So I appreciate everyone that showed up today. And have a nice one.